We're going to go live. All right.
Yeah.
We're live. Plain in Traffic. Your only web-based automotive show where we talk about anything automotive, motorcycling, mechanical, washing machine, clothes dryers. We'll talk about. I don't give a crap what you want to talk about. We'll talk about it within reason. Lewis
We're
Lee
talking
is the
about it
man
all.
in charge. He's right there on the left. He's having a little trouble technically. I'm Ray Guarino, second in charge. Motormouth Radio. Check us out on the web and all the social media crap, and we'll work through this. How you doing,
Yep,
Lewis?
I'll be right back. I'm trying to find a speaker because my speaker is not working right.
Or
So I'll be right back.
or something. All right. All right.
Go ahead and let the fellas in.
Hey, who's that?
Hey, no technical difficulties here.
Man, do I have stuff to talk about to you tonight?
Man, I got stuff to talk about you too.
Really? Oh, this is going to be a good night. It's going to be good because my wife is feeding me margaritas while we had fish tacos, so I'm primed. I'm ready. Like, get out of the way, man. It's going to be a good night.
You better watch out. You know what happens when you have too much of alcohol on a taco night?
Yeah, I fall asleep.
Oh, I thought maybe you have some more little ones.
Listen, those days are over, brother. We're done with that.
Famous last words. You got to watch yourself.
My little ones are big, so damn, I want them to have the little ones. That's what I'm waiting for. You know, let them have the little one. I want
don't say that too loud. Don't say that too loud, Ray.
No, but my older daughter is actually going to be trying. You know, her biological clock is ticking, and I'm all for it. I want a grandkid. I liked having little kids. I really did.
Yeah.
I really did.
I'll send them your way.
I didn't think. I mean, when I was in my 20s, I actually kind of always, Brian, you know, with me, everything's been late. My wife was the one that pushed us to get married. If she didn't take the plan up, it wouldn't happen. And after it happened, I said, hey, you know what? We should have done this sooner. This is great, man. All the freedom we got, you know, everything's cool. Then we had the first kiss, you know, with the babies. And after we had the first one, I said, damn, we should have done this sooner. And but you know, it is what it is, so it's all good. But
okay,
we're talking about cars and tools today. I got a little something today from the guy in the bad truck, right? I tell you, this guy is what a guy, man. What a schlub. Tool dealers. I used you as an example today. You know, tool dealers should be upbeat into their products, into what they're doing, and this guy just isn't. You know, he was a dealer, he was a rep, he was a truck guy, then he became a front office guy for like 20 something years. And now he came back on the truck. And I swear, I think they put him in as a mole because he's got no interest, no, you know, it's like, hey, what's new? Yeah, nothing. Nothing. Listen, dude, I see the stuff on Instagram, and you know, everybody, all the companies, Matco, Snap-on, they're all putting up stuff. Cornwell, I see it. I said, everybody's got new stuff. It's like, you got to have something. I brought him a pair of pliers that I had bought about a year ago, and they're like super, I really like the pliers. It's a really super strong grip plier. I paid a lot of money for these things. I took them out of my toolbox the other day, and I noticed the top surface had some, like the beginning of rust on it. And I flipped them over, and the bottom side was like brand new. So I hit it with WD-40, and I wiped it, and I let it soak, and it didn't go away. So I made sure I met him today on the route. And I said, listen, dude, I said, you know, this isn't right. And he happened to have his zone rep with him on the truck.
Yeah.
So the zone rep was more interested in what I had to say than the dealer was.
Yeah.
And he says, whoa, he's looking at it. Whoa, well, did you put? I was like, yeah, you can see the WD-40 on there. Oh, you tried that? Okay. So the zone rep said, listen, do you have these like at the shop? Are they in the wet? I said, these are in my house, in my home toolbox. I said, none of my other pliers, old or new, have done the same thing. Only these, and only on this one side. I said, and I'm not happy about it. Paid a lot of money for this.
Right.
So he says, yeah, I can see they're like brand new. So he's like, well, I guess I could order another pair. I don't have one on the truck. And I said, you know, that's the problem with you guys. I said, I see again, from all the tool companies, I see all of the announcements every week. And I said, no, I got a friend who's a Matco guy. He has issues like that too. And he can't always get everything that they advertise. I said, he says, yeah, you know, they wanted me to buy like the zone rep said, I wanted him to buy like 60 pair of these back when they came out about a year ago. And none of my dealers wanted to buy 60 pair of pliers, because it's expensive and they figured I'm never going to sell them. He says, little did we know, they sold out. It was a big hit. So everybody missed the boat. I said, okay, well, I'm happy I got a pair. I said, but what are you going to do about this? Well, I guess I could order another pair. We talked about other stuff. There's another pair of needle nose that are parallel jaw pliers that I ordered about 3 months ago. I said, what happened with those? Oh, they're on back order. I'm like, what's with you guys? I said, you put the stuff, they put it on social media. They feed everybody the information. I took the bait. I want them. I said, I'll tell you the truth. If my Matco guy had them, I'd be buying them from him. I said, I would, because I know I'd get them. I didn't tell him about the box. I said, but I know he'll get them. And they're both looking at me like, oh, you said that nasty word. I said, look, dude, it's all about getting what the customer wants when the customer needs it. I said, this customer, the customer's going to pay. I said, we got the money. Oh, I know. I feel so bad. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. So I'm walking off the truck. I said, okay, see you next. I'll come scout you next week. He goes, oh, so what do you want me to do? He says, you want me to order a new pair? I was like, yeah, order another pair of these pliers and get them to me. I said, if they rust, you're taking them back too. I said, because this ain't right. I said, for the money, this isn't Harbor Freight here,
Yeah. We know it was probably they didn't dip it in the stuff long enough.
The backside, I could go out and get them and show you. The backside is absolutely pristine, and the front side has these marks on them.
I had one of those days today, Ray, because man, it just gets very brutal day in, day out. You try to get the guy stuff. I mean, it's like I had a lengthy conversation today with my district manager, and they're kind of. He may not say it or he'll deny it, but I'm pretty sure when I call, I get I'm in a meeting or I'm busy. I'll call you back later because, it's because it's. You can only do so much dancing around.
So you're talking about ordering things and not having the availability.
Or
right.
Product.
Well, I don't.
I had a guy that got a toolbox.
Motion detected at the back
and
door.
I'm trying to remember how long it's been. It's been like 16 weeks ago.
Wow, that's 2 months. Yeah, it's 4 8. That's
4 months. 4 months ago, I guess, roughly 3 to 4 months ago, and there was an issue with it. I mean, there's issue. There's a legitimate issue with the box.
What, the construction, the building,
construction of the box? Yeah. Okay. During shipping, there's an issue with the box. I took pictures. And, they said, they agreed, no problem. I mean, Matco's pretty good about it, but they said, all right, we'll get a new box out. We're going to, make a new box, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay. I tell the guy, hey, look, dude, you're going to have a new box coming to you, this and that. I walked in there Monday and the guy's like, look, dude, where's my box?
Right.
And I'm like, well, we're still waiting for it, and it's this or that or blah. He's like, I don't want any of it now. And I'm like, I'm like, I can't.
There's a sale going out the door.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably just saying that because he's frustrated. I get it.
Like I said, I'm like, and then of course we have it's a mega meeting coming up. Basically, it's all sales strategy for us or for them. They're coming up with a huge meeting with product, and that's supposed to carry us into our tool expo. Okay, coming up next year. And so they're like, oh, we're having this deal on toolbox. And I'm like, they're having this deal on toolboxes. And I'm like, let's time out. You can't even, we're 12 to 14 weeks or more behind on toolboxes now. Why are we trying to sell more if we can't fix or get what we need to do to fix, to get the stuff out? And it just aggravates me.
What's their answer? What do they say?
Well, it's they just, I mean, unfortunately, we're dealing with bean counters,
right,
and they look at it as they're going to get to sell no matter what.
But they're not. But they have to realize they may not.
But you got to understand, though, they have a captive audience, and that's us. And that's why, like you said, that district manager that was with him, that sales reps guy, there's no difference than any other of them say, you need to buy 50 of these, or they have no problem tying up our money.
Oh, I understand that. And like his point was, they recommended that the dealers buy X amount of this product, and a lot of dealers didn't, or they didn't want to, and it ended up being a good seller. So, like he said to me, he goes, I wish I would have bought more because now I can't get them. Like, okay, I get it. You're tying up your money. You didn't want to do it. You didn't think that it was, for whatever reason. And it ended up being a very, very good product. Yeah. And guys like me like it. It works. I'll pay for that. If it works, I'll pay for it. That's the bottom line. If that tool is going to make my life easier, make me working on cars and my house and all my crap easier, yes, I'm all in. And I'm not the only one. I think everybody in every shop is kind of the same way. They're all they're going to agree. But
like I said, it just I got it's a USA made socket, 13 millimeter swivel deep, and 10 months.
Wow. That's ridiculous. That's like saying you can't get a 22-inch wiper blade from the auto parts store.
And like I said, the guy, and like you said, I'm handing out supplements or something close to it or something because these guys need a tool to work. I mean, you're talking about a common thing instead of, a lot of other places, not everybody. And I'm not here to bash the whole thing, but a lot of people have learned to work around this.
Well, we all do. Yeah.
And you just can't, like I said, I get a.
I mean, the work around that is, listen, if that was me, I have a 13 millimeter and I have a universal adapter I can put on that. And now I got a swivel. It may not be as tight or as close, but we all have, you got to get the job done. So what are you going to do? I mean, the Optimum tool isn't available. Use what is available. But I will tell you this. I had a call today from a guy at the main shop. He's a young guy. He's 26. And, he's been buying tools and whatnot. He's buying more motorcycles than tools. So that's what the call was about. But his call was he bought a new Road King. Not a new to him Road King. And he's doing an oil change, and he couldn't get the filter off. It's a spin-on. I said, did they put that stupid chrome filter on it that everybody with the Harleys use? Yeah. He goes, I was going to put the ice pick through the filter. I said, listen, if you do that, realize you only have the wall of the filter to pull against. I said, you should be using a good pair of pliers or a strap. I said, I happen to have a pair of Matco oil filter pliers. I said, and I will lend them to you. I said, they go from 2.5 inches up to 5 inches. I said, I think they'll work for you. And I said, I will lend them to you tomorrow if you need them. And then I'll tell you where to get them. I'll tell you where to get it. So I happened to ask him because he sees the same dealer I do, the Snap-on guy. I said, did you happen to see Bill? He goes, yeah. And I know the history. I said, he goes, yeah, he's real nice to me lately. I said, yeah, it's because he wants to sell you a toolbox. That's why. And he came out and told me that. So the kid said, yeah, he wants to sell me this box. He goes, I don't know. I said, listen, dude, I'll tell you what. I said, I have 2 Snap-on toolboxes and 2 other toolboxes. I said, if I was going to buy a new box today, I buy a Matco box. I said, I got a guy. I said, I
Get a
buy
guy.
him. She goes, you got it. I said, I told you, I got a friend who's a Matco dealer. I said, yes, I buy it for him. I said, I think the Matco boxes, from what I've seen, are a superior box. I like the way they're made. I said, I have nothing against my Snap-on boxes. I said, but I would do that. He goes, oh, could you hook me up with him? I said, well, I'll talk to them. I'll talk to him. I'll see. We'll see what we'll see.
Let's see what we can do.
But he's looking at another. He goes, truthfully, if I had to spend money on a box, he goes, I might buy that new Icon box. I'm like, listen, I was in Harbor Freight 2 days ago. I had to buy a couple of things. I said, that Icon box is sweet. It's a nice box. I don't know who's making it, where they're making it. I said, but it looks real nice.
Yeah.
I said, that's another alternative. I said, but if you want the real deal, I'll hook you up with the guy.
So hey,
yes, Louis.
I'm sitting here looking at my camera, and I see my daughter going back and forth in the yard, right? So I look at the other camera to see up close what she's doing. And she had a dilemma with a spider on her mirror.
Oh, so yeah?
That's why I had to take off to go kill the spider. But when I got there, it was fine. So when I came back, I'm looking in the camera again, and I see her waving me back. So I had to go back and get the spider. So that's what I was doing, getting the spider.
I got them. They build webs off my FJ every night, and I got to take them off. But Louis, I got to tell you what I wanted to say in the beginning of the show that I couldn't. The last couple of posts you put up with your work on Instagram, let me tell you, brother, your work is so top shelf superior. It is so high class, and
thank you.
We're talking about tools. We're talking about expensive stuff. Your stuff looks like, and not that it's not worth it, I believe that it is. If someone was to tell me that was like a top shelf leather maker who did this stuff, I would believe them. It is like.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Bar none. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you.
The scrolling work and the lettering work you did. Oh, beautiful.
Oh, appreciate it.
Very clear.
Yeah.
Good hits. Good.
Yeah, I'm learning every day, man. That's all I can say. I'll just keep trying to learn, and
you are kicking it. Moving. You're kicking its ass across the field and back again. And I tell you something, I can see your work going up against. I've seen a lot of leather stuff. I mean, I used to hang with Paul Cox in the city, the guy that did Indian Larry stuff.
Yeah,
and he's unbelievable. And I mean, he was a little more intricate and a lot more involved.
That comes in time.
But you know what? It's a style. It's a style.
True. Yeah. His flavor. Yep.
You could be in the booth right next to him, and 1 for 1, not a problem.
Appreciate it.
Very nice.
I'm getting really busy too. Things are popping pretty good. This is gonna be my retirement. I'm gonna pull a trailer or something, or I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna carry my equipment with me. But I'll be doing leather stuff on the road.
Good.
I'll be trying to follow Papa Squirrel around, trying to sell stuff at those at those events.
So I should get a piece of paper. I sent you a note about cleaning that leather little wristlet that I wear, because it's gotten sweat soaked, and I can feel it's gotten stiff. And
I just ran out of the stuff I would show you, but it's saddle soap.
Saddle soap, right?
Yeah, you can get it at I think you might be able to get it at Walmart or
any Ace Hardware.
Spray?
Yeah, it's a spray.
I think I had that. It was in a brown bottle. I'm trying to remember the name of it because I used it on my leather jacket. So you're saying hit it with saddle soap, let it soak in.
Yeah, you just wipe it in, wipe it off, let it sit for a little bit, and it'll bring up anything on it. It'll like bring it up to the surface, and you wipe it off.
Okay.
They actually use it for saddles.
Right.
So you can imagine how his sweat, gets on the saddles and stuff. But,
especially
it works pretty good. It works pretty good. And then after that, you want to condition it. What did you say? I missed it.
I said, especially Lady Godiva's saddle. Get the funk on that thing, boy.
Come on now.
It's a family show.
This is a family, yeah.
So
hey, look, I said she's using the saddle. She's not bareback.
Okay.
The queen's not even in the ground yet. Let's be patient, all right?
And what's the best thing to condition with? You said something there too.
Neat's foot oil.
Oh, right.
Here, let me grab it. So this brand is here is from Tandy Leather, but you can get different brands.
Hold on 1 minute.
But this is what you condition it with. It soaks in real good. It keeps the leather soft and.
I know I talked to you about this a couple of years ago.
Papa's made a bag for his daughter,
and I want to put an order in for
it was a pretty green dye, man. I don't know where I got it from, but this dye was really.
I know I talked to you about this a few years ago, and you weren't really set up. And I want to put an order in to make a wristband wider than the ones. I mean, the ones I have, I had made at Disney because actually the guy was, that's what's like 3-inch. Well, 4 inch.
2.5. Wait, where's my little
2.5?
I think.
1, 2, 2.5.
It is 2. It's 2 inches, and then the one in the middle is 1 inch. So it's actually 2 and 1. Like I could take this centerpiece off and just wear it out.
So the overall, it's 2 inches overall, or is it more than 2? That looks more than 2.
No, it's 2 inches overall.
Okay, so I'm looking at a scale right now on my wrist, 2 inch. Yeah, 2 inches would be as big as I'd want to go.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I'm not, and my other one's 2. My watch band is 2 1/4.
Okay. Yeah, 2 inches fine. With a snap, you got a snap on the bottom.
No, I got a buckle, but I can put a snap on yours.
I'm thinking a snap, yeah, and I got some lettering I want to put on there. Yeah, where's the order form? How do I fill out the order form? Is it online?
Send me a text. Send me a text.
All right, good.
So tonight, what I was the reason I did the scam automotive companies. My daughter, I don't know if I told you guys this, but I had my mechanic put ball joints on her car.
Okay.
And so we needed a front wheel alignment because everything's out of alignment now. So she goes to this company local here. I'm not gonna say the name because I know their owner, but it's a popular tire and rim company on Market Street. I'm not gonna say the name. But she goes in there and they tell her they can't do the alignment because she needs ball joints. So I'm at work and they told us it's gonna be like $700. They can do it for $700, fix everything. So I'm at work and so she texts me. I was like, just take the car home, and I'll figure something out. So I sent her to Flynn's Tire. Have you guys got Flynn's where you're at?
No.
Okay, they're probably it's a chain local here, but I sent it there. They did the tire alignment for $65 and sent her home. This guy was up here trying to scam her. I don't know if it was the owner or if it was. Yeah, it was.
So they told her that she needed a ball joints after you did the ball joints.
Yep.
Oh, wait a minute, and it was $65 for the alignment.
Talk about hanging us on a cliff.
A four-wheel alignment here is over $100.
Yeah, it's $125.
The guy I know only charges me like $65, $70 because he gives me the right price. But Lewis, that was was that a 4-wheel alignment?
No, 2 front wheel. The fronts.
They only do. I don't know anybody who does 2-wheel alignments anymore. Everybody does 4-wheel alignments because they use the laser system.
They might have. Wait a minute, they might have. I don't know.
Because that's like I said, here that's over $100.
You don't have the printout? Do you have the printout? Because I'll show you on the printout if they did.
They should have given you a printout, the computer printout that shows you all the wheel angles and all that in color.
Yeah,
and
it was 4.
Angle,
right.
The 4. Center, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, it was 4.
4. That was a great deal.
$65 for a 4-wheel alignment. That's my price. So that's, like I said, that's very, very good.
Well, they know we're poor in this area, so they do it cheaper, I guess.
Yeah, but my question was, since you're back, so she took it after you did the ball joints, and they said that she needed ball joints again?
Right. They didn't do the ball joints.
No, you did the ball joints, and then you went up for the alignment, and they said, hey, you need ball joints and the alignment. It'll be $700.
Right. So if I was there, I would have blew a gasket because I know she just got, and she was thinking that she just got this stuff done, but she wasn't sure. She wasn't 100%. You know what I mean? So,
had she originally taken it there prior, and that was in the previous history?
No.
Like, this is my problem. What you were talking about was that they will do their homework and they say, oh, Ray's bringing his car in, and the last time he was here, he needed this, this, and that, and he didn't do it. So even before they even look at your problem, they're already hitting you on previous stuff or trying to sell previous work.
Yeah, she had never been there.
I just didn't know if she had been there earlier and they said, prior, and they said, you need a ball joint. And you said, okay, no, I passed. And then you did it and took it back. And they were saying, without even looking, saying, hey, we need to do ball joints and your alignment. That's what I was trying to figure.
Yeah, no, it was the first time there. See, the problem is she looks like me, so she's very pretty. And they figured they can get her.
And sexy, right?
How long is her beard?
Her beard's a little shorter than mine.
Good. That's good. That's good.
So they figured they could get her because she's younger. You know what I mean? So it just blew me a new gasket. So I didn't go up there and talk to the owner because I know the owner. And now I'm calmed down. This was like a couple months ago, and I rode by there today, and it just flamed me back up. So
now wait a minute. Back up a minute. What kind of car is it?
It's a Mazda CX-5 or C.
Okay, Mazda. I just went through this with a guy today. I had to talk him off a ledge. Mazda ball joints. You have to buy the control arm with the ball joint. You can't do just a ball joint.
Right.
So
that's what we did.
Actually, in a shop, in my world, that's actually easier to do than just a ball joint replacement.
Right.
So, but the parts are more money, and depending what parts he used, I hope he didn't use Mevitech, because the Mevitech stuff, I mean, I'll tell you right now, I do not like Mevitech front end stuff. It's
well, you know what? We had to buy it offline because we couldn't. No auto parts around here could get the part. Napa, nobody had it, and if they did have it, or they had to order it, and it was like double the price. It was like real expensive.
I'm going through it right now with a water pump for my wife's car. It's the Cruise. It's an Ecotech engine, and I want the GM pump. I'm looking at $140, $125 for a water pump. So I ran it through the shop today. I told the guy at the shop, get me a price on this through the shop. The price through the shop was $190. I said, you mean I'm getting a better price than you are?
Yeah, some parts are like that. Like, for some reason, they're just outrageous.
Ugh.
Yep. So that was my reasoning for this evening's subject. Can you imagine how many women or even younger kids might get taken like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You go in and they hit you for $700. Most people don't have that spare $700.
Right. So did you look at the bill, the breakdown on the bill, to see exactly how they itemized it?
Where, from the tire place?
Yeah.
No, because I told her to leave. She didn't get it done there.
Okay, she didn't do it. Okay.
No, I had her go to another place, Flynn.
So was she looking at 2 or 4 ball joints?
No. We had it all done. We fixed the car, but she needed a front wheel alignment because when you take all that stuff off.
So basically, Ray, what they did was they did the ball joints on the car, and they took it to get alignment. And the guy at the alignment store says, "Hey, you need ball joints and an alignment." After they did, I mean, they had prior the ball joints were new.
All right, that's the piece that I missed. Then that's I don't blame you. That's DEFCON 4.
Yeah. Okay. So, and of course, he goes someplace else. They do alignment for $65 or whatever it is, and all's good. Now, I know people, and I've done this myself, that certain cars have certain problems or they're common problems. So you're automatically, you say, oh, you got 120,000. Oh, you're going to need to rebuild your front end, or you're going to need this, or you're going to need that. And instead of course, instead of looking at the car and knowing that before, they're already writing up this. I took the wife. This was to the Ford dealership that I go to, and this was she had a problem with her transmission. It was a temperature sensor inside the transmission, and I had talked to the guy that did the transmission work there, and he said, "Yeah, just run it up front. Tell him to put my name on it, and I'll put the switch in for you." And the sensor, and I said, "Okay." So I get in there and I walk up, and the service writer goes, "Hey, you're the Mako guy, right?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, that's your wife's car, your truck." I said, "Yeah, I was seeing how where we're at with it." He goes, "Oh, you need a coolant flush, brake flush, transmission flush. You need oil change. You need this." And I was like, whoa. I said, "What about the transmission?" He goes, "Transmission? What do you mean transmission?" Yeah. I said, "I brought it in here for a transmission problem." And he's like, "Oh, well, we haven't gotten to that yet." And I was like, whoa. So you want to hit me up with $2,500 worth of work prior to even looking at my problem?
Yeah.
I said, "This is the problem. This is why you guys don't have customers. You got to take care of the customer's problem first, and then you can inform me or let me know what else needs to be done. But you're jacking, because they get this kickback on snake oil stuff."
Right.
He's setting his pad before he even letting anything go.
You think that speaks to the new way of doing business because they're losing business in other ways and
exactly
trying to get that profit margin.
They're just trying to get everything they can. Every person is. I hate to say that this is just like me and my business. Everybody's a $20 bill. That's why you want to get them on the books. That's why you're all kind, sweet, and lovable, and want to, because you're a 20, and you're a 20 for a payment. You know what I'm saying? So they just get these cars in, and what's the average price? They said $1,800 is the average repair now on a car or something.
Kind of funny. My neighbor, she's a single woman, and she's got a Subaru that she just drives locally. It doesn't have a lot of miles on it. It's a few years old. I think it's a 2016. She comes over here saying, she's Ray, can you take a look at something? She goes, I smelled something. She puts the car in the garage every night. She's like, I got a smell. And I noticed when I backed the car out, there's a stain on the floor. She goes, I know it wasn't the air conditioning. So if it was water, it would have dissipated. It's still there. Can you take a look at it? And it's got a smell. I'm like, okay. So she opens the door. The car is out of the garage, and I see the stain is up by where the engine would be on her car. I said, okay, it's something from the front of your car. I can tell you that right now. I said, and it's oily. So I walk over to it. I bend down, and I dip my finger in it, and I smell it right away. I said, it's gear oil. I said, is that thing four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive? She goes, yeah, it is. I said, it's transfer case. I said, I'll tell you right now, I'm doing this. I said, the oil is clean. So this stuff was changed. I said, but it smells like gear oil. There's no two ways about it. And of course, she doesn't get it. I said, she was, I just had it serviced a little while ago. They did a full service. I said, well, she goes, what would cause that leak? I said, well, funny. I just watched the video today. One of those just rolled in videos where the guy's car came into the shop. Customer was complaining of a noise in the engine. There was an oil leak. They dropped the plastic cover under the engine, and the drain plug was sitting down in there. So the last guy didn't tighten it. I said, so best case scenario, I said, I don't think the drain plug came out because there's not enough fluid, but maybe they didn't put a new gasket on. Or I said, you know what? I use the old gaskets all the time. I use those copper gaskets, and I have no trouble. I said, maybe they didn't put one on. I said, and you do have a slight leak. I said, but whatever it is, you do have a leak. I said, worst case scenario, you got a cracked transfer case. I said, that happens all the time too. I said, I know you probably didn't hit anything or go over any big potholes, but I said, you got to look at the car on the lift. She goes, well, I'm going back there tomorrow anyway. I said, okay. I said, tell him you have a gear oil leak. I said, take a sample, put it on a napkin or whatever, put it in a bag. So she comes in. I said, she finds me later in the day in my garage, and she goes, I found my receipt. I'm looking at it, dated July, full service, all fluids changed. I said, right here, line item 3, gear oil. I said, they changed your transfer case oil. I said, they were in there. I said, they're culpable. I said, tell them you have a leak and let's see what it is. So I'm waiting to see how that plays out because, and then I said, you know what, Kathy? I said, here, I pulled a bottle off my shelf. I opened it. I said, smell this. And she's like, oh yeah, that kind of smells like it. I'm like, look, gear oil.
Yeah.
Synthetic gear oil. I said, there you go. So tell them you know it's gear oil because you verified it.
That's why I didn't have a girlfriend in high school, because I was blowing rears and trans up. I smelled like gear oil all the time.
You know, I wanted to tell her the story when I was, I think, 17. I told this on the show years ago. It became a clip. I said, you know, I think it was changing a tranny or probably a rear end, tranny or rear end. I said, the 90 weight spills on the lawn. You're rolling around. I said, you get it in your hair. I said, it never comes out of your hair. It's like in there for weeks. It's like bad if it was on my clothes. My mother's like, what the hell were you doing? You know, she was doing the laundry. I said, yeah, when you get it in your hair. I said, it's like cracking a main bearing on an older engine. I said, you know that smell and you know it for the rest of your life.
Yep. Good old gear oil.
Yeah.
So that was my rant for today. Is
that's a good one.
Shops taking advantage of people.
Well, like in the one Ray's talking about, the other thing is they try to push things through so fast, and they miss something, or they don't torque something down. They don't, you know what I mean? They just don't double check it before they push it out the door. You know, I had the same thing happen that Brian had. They tried to tell me they couldn't do something else until they installed a new transmission.
God,
I've never been back there since. I just bought one online, I rebuilt one, and installed it, and never had a problem with the vehicle. And
yeah,
I had a when I had my repo company, one of my drivers calls and says, "Hey, transmission's not going in the gear; it's done." Right. So I sent my other truck, pick it up, take it to the shop that was pretty close to where he was at. So the guy was like, "Oh yeah, you need a transmission. We can get to it like in 2 weeks, 3 weeks." I was like, "Man, I can't have the truck down that long." So there was a shop by my house that I rode by every day. It was a truck repair shop. So I was like, let me stop and see what this guy, if he's real busy. Never had stopped there before. So I stopped in and said, hey, I got a tow truck, you know, not going into gear or whatever. So he says, oh yeah, bring it. I'm open. So I take it there. Before I get home, he calls me and says, okay, it's fixed. So I told him, put a transmission in it because I need the truck back. So he goes, the PTA cable or PTO cable broke and it wouldn't let the truck go into gear because it was still, the PTO was still open. So he could have got me, you know, the first guy said, oh yeah, you need a transmission. And he's shaking his head. He's going to clean my transmission and wait a week and give it back to me.
Yeah.
Right.
And so after the new guy that I went to, I was like, dude, you have all my business. I'll never go anywhere else.
You know, the only funny thing about that, Lewis, is most likely, because I've seen this, I go into a lot of shops. That guy, the first guy, would have put a transmission in the truck, and it still would have had the same problem.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would have looked. And said, "Oh, it's this cable."
Mm-hmm.
And either he would have enough money padded where he would never say, or he would have called you, set it up, and said, "Oh, by the way, you need this cable also because of age or whatever." I see it so much. It actually drives me absolutely insane when I go into a shop and the guy's like, "Oh yeah, he needs this," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Because this is here.
Hey, they take their chances on every customer. Maybe they don't know anything about their car, their vehicle, you know, and they just take advantage.
You know, I'll tell you guys something. One of the guys I watch religiously on YouTube is Tony DeFeo, Uncle Tony. It's Uncle Tony's Garage, UTG. He's down in Tennessee, and he's always doing videos like this, which is what I'm going to talk about right now. You have to be in charge of your own destiny. It's like if you're going to let them take you, you know, if you're going to go to people and let them steer you and tell you what to do, it's like, good luck. You got to know what you're doing. You have to know somebody. And these days, it's even more important than ever because this is happening every single day.
Every day.
You know, I mean, that's why, you know, I mean, we're kind of a lucky group. I mean, I know myself, especially the guys I use, I know and they give me the straight dope, and they know that I know as much as they do, so they're not going to, I'm not their average customer. I'm the loss leader, because they got to, first of all, they got to give me a good deal. Second of all, they can't rake me over the coals, but they know that I refer people to them, and they probably screw them. So, but they know it's me or a family car. My daughter, like, hey, you better do the right thing, because I'm checking on you. It's like I'm only bringing it to you because I can't do this job right now for whatever reason it is.
Right.
Or you're more equipped than me. Like, I like the front end guy, or when I go to the alignment shop, I happen not to have an alignment machine at home.
Well, I'm going to put out that there are some honest mechanics, like this guy Chris that I went to, my second mechanic, that became my full-time mechanic. He was so good. He was always busy, right? He'd be backed up. So I'd call him and I'm like, Chris, man, I'm broke down. I'm on the freeway. I got $200,000 worth of cars on this truck, man. I got to get off the road.
Oh yeah.
He would say, okay, you can have it towed, or you can tell me what's going on and I can tell you how to fix it. Right. He would tell me how to fix it, man. I'm telling you, he saved me so many times telling me how to fix it, right? So I would buy him gift cards. Red Lobster, I'd drop them off here, man. Because I'm telling you, he saved me. I can't imagine how much money he saved me.
And that's a lot of that is like a mutual respect. I mean, I do it. I mean, I don't own a shop. I work at one, but I work with people, and you extend yourself to people who are in the same. It's just that mutual respect thing. You have to do that for the right people. And
so listen to this. When I got my bus, well, first I called him and said, "Hey, I'm going to buy a bus. What should I look for?" So he gave me some ideas, what to look for. So I went and got the bus. So I called him. I was like, "Man, I got the bus." He goes, "I'm gonna bring it out there. Let's check it out." So I'm excited because I got a mean mechanic, right? I was like, "Yes, he's the man." He tells me he retired. Sold the business.
Oh man!
Listen, my heart was broke. I'm like,
yeah.
Who am I gonna go to? I don't trust nobody. You know what I mean? You're my guy.
I know.
So he's like, I'll still look at it for you. So let me know when you're ready. Bring it out, and I'll put it on the computer. You guys, he'll still check it out for him. And I was like, oh my God, I ain't gonna find a mechanic ever.
Yeah.
Which I could work on a lot of the stuff myself. But I got a bad back.
I know. Listen, yeah, we're all compromised. Justin, what do you guys do like at your shop when you got a guy that comes in? I mean, a customer off the street is one thing, but what about when you got a guy who maybe he is a shop owner, or maybe he's a mechanic, or he's in the trade somehow. So that he knows what's going on, but he just needs to have, like, if I was to bring my car to you, because I'm not putting that floor pan in from toe to tail. I'd rather have a shop dude who I can trust. Do you guys deal with those people differently, or what's the protocol that you guys follow?
We try and really treat everyone the same. I mean, we just do right by people and not take advantage. We get a lot of cars in that have been to other shops that have screwed people over. We had one come in one time that the shop he had it before stole parts off of it. Old 30s pickup, and so we really just try and treat everybody as best we can. I mean, pretty easy to lose a reputation. It's hard to build it.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah.
It's very hard. And I just this was a conversation I had with my district rep today, and it basically comes down to, you treat the person right, and instead of trying, I see this happen where people try to jack so much money out of one time. I'd rather see you 10 times and make a little bit of money over the 10 times to equal more than the one time of screwing you. Just like you said about when, getting your car fixed and, you went someplace, you did other, and then somebody just jacking you for $2,000, $3,000. And, I tell them all the time. I'll tell all the new guys, why do you think I've been around for 20 years?
Yeah,
it's just being fair and treating.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I may not make a full $5 on this deal, but I'll make it on the next deal because you'll come back to me because I treated you right.
It's longevity, yeah.
Yep.
Longevity, yeah. I mean, there's guys that are in the business. We all know them, and they're looking to screw everybody, make the most on every deal, on every part on every, I mean, that's their thing. Okay, cool. So, maybe you're going to be out in 4 or 5 years. Maybe that's your plan, to be out in 5 years. But the guys with a long-term plan who actually not only want to work on the cars, but care about their customers, you got to make concessions. And you got to, this Mustang I worked on, the last time it came back, I had to fix the brakes again. And the shop owner said, listen, I can't charge this guy again because we just did all the brakes. And he knows I told him there was a problem that we let go, and he chose to let it go. He said, so I got to eat this one. He goes, I'll pay you. He goes, I'm going to pay out of my pocket. He goes, because you did the work, you got to get paid. He goes, and I got to eat it. He goes, that's the way we got to do business. I said, good. I'm glad to hear that, because that's in my mind
the right thing. Yeah.
And you got to stand behind your work. I mean, that's just all there is to it.
I stand behind every brake job I do. Think about that.
But not in front of it.
Mine is still squeaking since you did mine.
What's that, Scott?
Ever since I'm still squeaking.
But there's right and wrong ways to do things, and
well, there's a lot of deception out there now.
Everything seems to be across the board. Everything is just falling to shit. Everything's getting worse. People are in a funk. I mean, we all are. I mean, when you look at your household finances and work and the country and the economy, and you look at your retirement, whatever it is, you look at everything, and it's all just my food bill's going up, fuel bills are going up. Everybody's feeling it, and I think a lot of guys are trying to take advantage and make it back. And that's why, like I said before, it's more important than ever now that we are the guys who can take care of ourselves. Like, we could make a fire if we had to. We could fix something when it breaks. Not everybody has those skills,
right?
And I don't mind sharing what I know with other people. That's one of my goals in life, is to pay it forward and share it.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
You can't be taken advantage of. You gotta. I don't know if it's got to break sooner or later. I hope so. I don't want to have to be a prepper.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of a prepper. I mean, no, I'm not. I don't have anything.
I had a guy here at the house. I had a guy here yesterday. I got these Mitsubishi split ACs, and one of them was leaking, down the wall. The drain was clogged, but I couldn't get up. I couldn't figure out where it was without taking. I said, okay, let me call the guy who I used last year, independent guy. He came down. He stayed for like 4 hours. We were having a conversation like you wouldn't believe. Well, you would believe it. But he was telling me, end of the day, he says, you know what? He goes, I'm a captain on a boat. He goes, I have a 50-foot boat. Now, we live on Long Island, which is an island off of New York. And he says, there's no way off of this island. If anything ever happened with a car, you're not getting off, because you got to go through the Bronx or New Jersey. You're not getting off. And we know that. He goes, I got a 50-foot boat with 4 months of freeze-dried supplies on it. Wow. He says, all I got to do is get to that boat. He says, and we're going around, and I'll be in Bermuda. I got enough fuel on that boat to get me to Bermuda. I said, wow, that's. And he said he had this katana sword made that's in a cane. This guy was like way above what I thought. And I said, man, that's really cool. I
hear you. I mean, if I had water close by, I'd have a boat hidden somewhere.
Right. A 50-foot boat. I mean, this guy's
that's a boat.
That's
a big boat. Yeah.
No joke. But he's ocean going, man.
One of our what would you call them? People that watch our show. Viewers, yeah. Matter of fact, he was on a couple weeks ago, Isaac.
Isaac. Yeah. Coach Isaac.
Well, he gifted me
your lowrider.
My lowrider.
Nice.
And hold on.
Oh, and a Batmobile. Very cool.
And
we have more.
Hey, I had him on my show. We didn't need jack shit. What's going on?
You got General Lee there too?
Huh?
You got GeneralLee and maybe the 18 van?
No, not yet. That was a new Knight Rider. Here's the new version of the Batmobile in gold.
Oh, nice.
That's in the M case. That's the case after what you got there.
Why would they do that?
Huh? Because it's Hot Wheels, and
Because someone will buy it because it's different.
Yep. What was the other one you had? The lowrider? They have a new one out.
Yeah.
Brian's
I don't
gonna
know.
go car for car.
Yeah.
Now, what is
Is that
that?
66
What,
Chevelle?
what, I can't make out the car. Is that? It's got a.
It's
66 Chevelle?
No,
It's not Chanel. It's like
a
Impala.
Like a
Sam Powell.
67?
don't say. Wait a minute.
I must
Staying on the bottom of the car?
No, this is lay low.
It's a lay low. It's like
Is it an Impala? Does it say it's an Impala?
No, I don't.
No.
On the bottom of the car don't have anything on it?
So now we're getting even generic with our lowriders.
I must have not. I guess I didn't. I thought I grabbed.
Brian, you're grabbing them 2, 3 at a time, man.
Brian, how many do you have there?
45.
Stop counting.
That's just what he moved.
All right.
That was this week's my hits this week. I guess I didn't. I thought I grabbed the new blue one. I gotta go back. Damn! Oh darn!
That's all just this week? I don't even want to know how many you have.
Yeah. So in this one, this one was the 58 Impala.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
I like that. I like that a lot.
As long as
That's
it's not a 50, as long as it's not a 56 Chevy, we don't care.
Yeah, that was that. So
This really don't say what car it is. It looks like
Yeah,
a
no-
Chevy.
it's
No,
Kinda-
it could be a Ford.
no,
Galaxy.
it's not a licensed product because it will say it's just
Generic.
a generic.
something.
Okay.
I thought that
The
So
back
the-
looks like a Chevelle.
It really
they
looks like
have
a 66 from the front.
when you roll it.
It
When you
does.
roll it, if you roll it, the motor shakes back and forth.
Really?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Wow.
Oh, yeah, I
that's
see it. Yeah.
yeah. So when it rolls,
Get
the
out of
motor
the
goes
package.
back and
Let's
forth.
see.
I don't want to take it out of the package. It might be worth a lot of money one day.
It's not really worth anything. It's more fun to
look.
take it out.
You cannot. This is why you can't find the stuff because you cannot look at it as a value of money. It's what you like. And you collect
Let's
Terry.
take it out and play with it.
No,
Yes.
Hey, Terry.
I like it.
I like the
Scott, I heard that
blue.
comment, Scott.
And
Heard
talk
that
about the
comment.
match spots.
Yeah, you heard it too then,
Not
eh?
you know
I heard
what.
it too.
Dirty mind.
Hey, but I really love the El Camino though.
The El Camino.
Nice.
Yeah, the
That's El
ultra. Yeah,
Camino.
ultra fast.
Yeah.
Looks like
Hey,
the.
hey, Terry, have you seen the new throwback Chevelle they're coming out with in 2025?
Did anybody watch
I
the
did.
unveiling of the Dark Horse?
No.
Yeah.
I see
The
it.
new Ford Mustang, the Dark Horse.
I haven't
really
seen it.
like
Doing-
that.
They're doing 4 different stages of it for all types of racing. 600 horsepower. I'm not too thrilled about the name, but that's the next generation. I guess I'm glad they didn't bring back something like the Mach E and make it look completely.
what's
It is kind of racist.
Well, what's the matter with Dark Horse? I think that's
Huh?
what's the matter with Dark Horse? Man?
Darky, you know.
He just doesn't
Bill.
like it.
Well,
Bill, you talking about that
let's face it, it's not.
the new Chevelle they come out a couple of months ago? That's Trans Am Worldwide.
Yeah, it's on the Camaro
It's a
platform.
Camaro, yeah.
I'm not
Just
a
like
fan.
when they came out
They-
the GTO and the Trans Am and
They did much better with the Trans Am than they did with the Chevelle.
100% because the Trans Am Camaro are basically the same car.
Right.
well,
You know?
I like the Chevelle, except the bumper is goofy looking on both front and the back. It's like bulky, and there's one.
It
that
looks like it just
cool.
got stuck on there.
Yeah, if they did something with the two front bump, the front and the rear bumper, I'm okay with the rest of the car.
Well,
I
they
like
should've
how
put
that
on
whole
Foose.
roof is
They
retractable.
gotta have the federal crash standards. You know, they gotta. But Louis, I gotta say, if they came out like with the Cracker Chevelle, I mean, I might still buy it. I don't give a shit.
The Cracker Chevelle.
Fine. Cracker Chevelle, good. It's me.
Isn't that the Keebler Chevelle, the townhouse?
What do I care? I really don't
Okay.
care. I really don't. I don't. See, because you know why?
Cracker Chevelle.
Because none of that shit means anything to me. All that is just, it's just bullshit. It doesn't mean
Hey.
anything to me.
You know, I don't care,
Right.
man. That drives me crazy when people say stupid stuff like that.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like I just discount it, and I'd say, you know what? Good, I'll buy it. I'll wear the T-shirt. I don't give a shit.
Yep.
I don't care.
But if
I really
GM
don't.
actually comes out with a new Chevelle, it'll end up being an electric car, unfortunately. Which would suck.
I know when the day comes and I'm in front of the gates and I'm being judged by the man, he's going to say, "Okay, on that note, you're clear. On a couple
Yep.
others, we got to talk. You got to work here, but on that one, you're okay." And
I hear you.
and I know I am. So
yeah. Now, you know, you would think the car manufacturers, they have the blueprints of the 69s, the 70s. Wouldn't you think they'd take that blueprint and build the exact same car and then put the modern stuff under it? Wouldn't that be like the hot seller?
Well, look what Dodge did with the Challenger. I mean, it looks very similar to an old Challenger.
Yeah, that's about the closest, I think.
Oh, 100%. 100. And Mustang comes second.
And in 05, when Ford come out with the Mustang, it did resemble like a 71 or a 72 style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, very similar.
each of those Mustang generation, the earlier ones were pretty much like the early 65, 66 style. There was very similarities.
And then it
was very subtle because when they did the fastbacks and the rear windows, they outlined the roundness of the back like on my Mustang. You know what I'm saying? If you knew what you were looking for, you could see where they took some of that. And then they did that with the 68s. And 67 version, like with the tail lights and how they made them, they were very similar. What they did. The only thing I am kind of glad about, at least, with what was that dude's name? Bill Ford, the CEO of Ford or whatever. At least he said that we're staying with the Coyote, and the Mustang will be gasoline. It's not going to be electric. So
that's what he says today. Who knows what tomorrow will bring?
Yeah. Well,
the Charger, I don't know what they were thinking about. I was just like, they should have called that something else. They should have called that the Fury. There you go.
Yeah.
The Fury.
It's 4 doors. It's called the
4 doors. You're right.
Fury 4. They had 3 of them. The Fury 4.
Now, when Impala came back in '94, it was hot. That was a hot comeback.
it was different, that's for sure. I mean, the platform was there up to 93, so we had those cars and the Caprice. Mm-hmm. And of course, they changed the wheel well, so everybody knew the architecture, but the car was different enough that it made a splash.
It stood out.
I mean, that's why I bought it.
And
I wish they made a 2-door.
I bought 2 of them.
Hey, you know what? And I'm so glad that Ray's going to gift me his Impala when he moves. I'm so happy.
Yep.
Well, even I gotta say, I wanted the Impala too. So
it has 23,000 miles on it now, not 22. So it's
just breaking in.
Listen, that is seriously on my list. But now they're going up in price. Ray sent me a price thing on them. Man, you can't touch them.
They went down, and now they're coming up again. Yeah.
And what really burns me a new one is when I see these thugs running around here with those big tires on them, and they got them all messed up, and
they donk them out. Yeah.
Oh my God, they're killing me.
Yeah, I got one in the shop being dunked right now. It's bright orange.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Terrible, man. It's terrible. Yeah.
I gotta go. You know the car that they built for Street Outlaws, the convertible.
Oh yeah.
Didn't they do something with those Impala SSs? Like the first, I guess, because at one point when they first came out, the Impala, the Class Caprice, the back quarter window went to an angle. It was like a triangle.
Filler panel. There's a filler panel in there.
They made a filler panel, and then at some point they just made them all look like that.
They made the window, like my 96 has the window.
Has the beautiful one. I couldn't stand them when they came out with that quarter window. I was like, ugh, that's hideous. But then when they made the SS, I was like, well, that's all right. I like that.
This is really funny. We literally just talked about this today at lunch.
Did you?
One of our painter, he was at a shop back when he was younger, and they did a 2-door Impala SS for a show car. He's gonna find me a picture of it. I'll have to send it to you, Terry.
I'd like to see
that.
I'd love to see it.
We were talking about that quarter window.
Yeah, because I remember because the Cruisers, At first, the cruisers had that let's call it a triangular claw, a sharp corner. It was like a sharp corner. It went out like this.
Yep.
In
Right.
the quarter window, and it was hideous. But then all they did was just did a filler panel, and then at one point they just made them all like that, and that just made the car look so much better.
Yeah,
did.
sure did.
I'll have to see if I can find it. He's gonna look for pictures, and I'll have to send them to you.
Love to see it. Love to see it.
Hey, I'm out of here, guys.
All right, Scott, appreciate you.
We'll see you
See you,
next
man.
time.
Scott.
Take care, everyone.
Hey, next
Have a
week is
good
the
weekend.
anniversary,
Okay.
so I got some guests coming on next week.
Nice,
Right
nice.
on.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so-
the anniversary. That's right. Yep.
Yep. So make sure you're around.
Sweet.
And Isaac, I was just showing the fellas what you gifted me.
Oh yeah.
My man. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, no
Cool.
problem. I remember I don't know, it was a month back, couple months back, something like that. Y'all got into the conversation of the Batmobile, I believe. And you said something about the original. And I happened to be at the grocery store. It's actually the one my son works at. And I always check right by the checkout. They have a whole rack right there on display. And I always stop right there and give it a quick look over. And I saw it. And then I saw that Knight Rider one. And I was like, oh, that's I haven't seen anyone like that with the super pursuit mode or whatever.
Yeah, that's the new Knight Rider, and I'm really surprised. I don't know because they're coming up on 30 years with that from the TV show.
From the
Yeah, I
TV
think it
show,
is.
yeah.
And I don't know if they're getting ready to promote a movie or something because I've noticed here Hot Wheels coming out with a lot of these. Actually, they just did a 2-car setup, the original Knight Rider and Kit. I got one floating around here someplace.
You know, I think it's 40 years because Tyler was just talking about it, I think.
Yeah, okay, yeah, 40 years. I know.
It was before my time. You guys are old.
Man, I'm 50.
Yeah.
Man, I was
Just
like,
say
I'm married 37 years already.
44, brother.
Yeah.
God bless you. Hey, I'm at 30, 32.
That's awesome, man.
You know,
nice.
you're talking about Hot Wheels. I got to show you one of the cool real car parts I got this week. I got my distributor from Holly.
Oh yeah, look at
In
that.
black.
Oh
too.
yeah.
This is going to plug and play with the sniper. It's
Nice.
a Hall effect, small cap. It's like, and I got it obviously in black because it matches everything. This thing is
Great.
cool.
You're going to be funky fresh.
Yeah. Oh, I'm redoing the whole thing. Yeah.
Styling.
We'll go with all new. But I
Nice.
got to tell you a funny
Nice.
story. I went. My good buddy Bill is listening in. He always watches the show. But he did a car show this past Sunday up in Whitestone. He's been doing it for 25 years. Show's been in effect since 1958. It's kind of by invitation only because it's in a neighborhood, and the cars are like there's certain like mine. It's the only car show I did this year. The only show I would go to because it's that good of a show, and a lot of other guys, the only show they'll go to. So it was a rainy day. It was drizzly, but that's okay. Car's got roof. It's got wipers. We're going. On the way home, I had my buddy and his son with me, and I wanted Brian to hear this. He's going to laugh. He's going to laugh when he hears this. I don't know if he's got his earbuds in. I don't know if he's going to hear. I don't know.
You hear us, Brian?
The show, just so you know, is if you've ever been to New York, there's 3 bridges that connect the Bronx with New York, and one of them is the Whitestone Bridge. And as you're coming over the bridge from the Bronx, you're coming down over into Queens. If you look down on your right side, you see a shoreline, and that's the community where this show is. So it's a community I can't afford to live in. Houses are freaking gorgeous, a lot of money. Very, very nice place. And you got the, of course, it was 9/11. So, Bill always does a tribute. Had the police fireboat out in the bay shooting water. He was going to try and get the police helicopter to come by, but they couldn't fly that day because of the ceiling was too low. But we're leaving and we're driving home. I couldn't take the highway because it was jammed. So I said, that's right. We're going to go side streets. I'll go through Queens and I'll cut around and I'll find my way home. So coming down this road that's called Francis Lewis Boulevard. It's a well-known. There was one strip that was always a big. Everybody used to do the street racing down there back in the day. So now through the years, there's been a lot of Asians who've moved into the area. So I stop at this light. I'm in the left lane. There's a turn lane. And I see a minivan. I know there's a minivan next to me at the light. I'm turning, and I could sense his passenger window go down, which was kind of odd given the weather. So I look over, and I expect maybe a guy's going to give me a thumbs up, nice car, whatever. And there's an Asian fella driving. He's about in his 50s, and he had his father with him. Guy must have been in his 80s or 90s, a little dog. And the driver's like, hey, nice car. He goes, rev it up. I'm like, sure. So I hit the gas. Wabba, wabba. He's like, yeah. So with that, the light changes. But as the light changes, I noticed in my mirror, there was a car that pulled up on my right. And I noticed an older man in his car. And he only came up to like my quarter panel. He wouldn't get next to me. This is where the story gets stupid, because this is where you go right back to being 17 years old. And I don't think it'll ever stop. I'm 64. It ain't going to stop now. The light changes, and I said, that's it. So I rev it again. I dump the clutch, just do a burnout for this guy. And he's going apeshit in this minivan. I hear him yelling as I dart across. Of course, the car goes a little to the right. So my friend's son is in the front seat, and he's asking me about we're talking. And I said, yeah. I said, it's really good that at least I know now my car hooks and it'll go straight. He goes, oh, wait a minute, but you went to the back end went to the right a little. I'm like, yeah, the ground is wet. I said, we're actually on wet. I said, actually, that was the stupidest thing I could have ever done, because just like a few weeks ago at the cruise night, when the guy with the gas, a Falcon, was next to me, got up on his line lock, and we did matching burnouts. I said, I'm thinking, oh, my God, I could be buying 2 quarter panels. Right back to 17, and I'm like, it'll just, I swear, it's that switch that just flicks in your head, and you do something stupid.
Luckily, you weren't in a newer style Mustang, because they all wrecked them. So just be glad. There you go, Terry. I threw one in for you. You didn't have to talk.
Hey, that or a Corvette.
Yeah, I helped you out. Don't worry.
I'm just saying, true. Like it's not funny if it's the truth.
Well, it could have been sad. I mean, I guess that guy in the Camry that was behind, I don't know what the hell he was thinking. He must, when I lit him up, he must have just been, because my tire was at about his door. So he must, I guess he got a nose full. But I was like, it's one of those things where as soon as you do it, you're like, oh, this is probably a bad idea.
Yeah.
Like, God, but you know what? You don't get it. You don't back out of it. You don't back out. Just stay in it. Pull second gear. Okay.
We're going. Cop isn't around.
Yeah. I wasn't worried about that. Really, I wasn't even thinking about that.
That's usually my luck. It'd be a cop behind me, and I'm lighting them up.
Right.
Yeah, same
Happened to me.
Been there, done that.
Oh yeah.
Well, around here, they have if you look at the map of Tucson, just on the northern outskirts is Oro Valley. They not only have the undercover Mustangs and stuff, the road rage Mustangs or whatever you call them, and they're blacked out. They look like they're a hot rod. You would not. In fact, I was taking my wife to work one day, looked over, they had somebody pulled over. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna keep my eye out for him. Not gonna get crazy around him. But they also have, so most of the police departments around have like retired police cars, or they have an American car.
Right.
You never see them in a foreign car. Oro Valley has, I think, like 3 Toyota Camrys unmarked.
Oh wow!
And they're around here. They call them Citation City.
That's sneaky.
Yeah, I'm like, it definitely fits being Citation City that they would think ahead like that and get a car that you would never. And they're 2 of them for sure are like a baby blue. Like you wouldn't even think. You wouldn't. I mean.
The only thing worse is that like Pep Boys hubcaps on them,
Yeah.
We got him here.
Right.
We got him here.
Over here in New York, what they do is they'll impound vehicles.
Yeah.
If they're, if there's warrants or whatever, or the guy, they'll impound the vehicle, and then what they do is they use those as they put lights to hide the lights. Well, they'll use those, so it just looks like a Durango or a Windstar or whatever.
They'll impound the vehicle to the point where you can't get it out.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
They'll take the vehicle. They'll seize it.
If it's in Maryland,
Like a
if
drug seizure.
if it's got drugs, it's gone, dude.
Right. Same
You're
thing
done.
here.
Back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Back in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, I got family in New Jersey, in Trenton. And whoever the prosecutor was there, he would seize drug cars and he would drive them. He'd drive them to work and show them that we're taking your cars.
Right.
Yep.
I have a couple good friends of mine, actually 3 good friends who were New York City auto crimes cops. And one of them, the guy who was he kind of like wrote a lot of the rules. He was one of the original guys. He said what they would do is they'd confiscate these guys' cars, and then they would drive them and stake out their houses with their cars. He goes, and it would really piss them off. So he said, and it was Mustangs at the time, Fox body Mustangs. So he was staking out this guy. It was a chop shop, and they knew they were staking him out. He parked the car back at the precinct. They stole it back from the precinct, and they stripped it and it was like a mob hit where they leave the guy on the street like as a message. They stripped this car. He said he showed me a picture of it. They took the wiring out of this car. They stripped it down to just the shell, just to show like, okay, now we took it back and you're not getting it. So then they raided them and they just put them all in jail.
I got some buddies like that. I got a buddy that stole a police car.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yep.
That's crazy. Crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, they don't mess around here, man.
Hey, back on the tool situation. Check this out.
Yeah, I like the tool situation.
I made my Leatherman.
Ah, sweet.
I got my clip. So now this is my everyday carry.
A pocket clip. Nice.
Yeah, it clips in. Look, it clips in where the lock. Pretty slick. Check this out. All right. It ain't gonna work now because I'm trying to show you, but
I got rivets on mine.
So this is my everyday carry, and I'm gonna get like 300 more and put them everywhere.
Yeah.
I love it.
Count me in because I could use a few more myself. I love.
Oh, listen. I ordered. Wait, is my wife watching? Hold on.
Yeah, be quiet.
I ordered a bracelet. Leatherman makes a bracelet that has a whole bunch of tools on it.
Yeah,
all the way around. Have you seen them?
Yeah, I've got one on the truck.
Oh man, it's pretty sweet. I had to get it, and it was on sale. 50.
That's good. That's a good price.
$59. They're usually like 120.
Yep.
It was on sale. I had to get it, man. It has like screwdrivers and
it has like a thing for wrenches. You can actually use the bracelet for work or MacGyver thing.
How does that work, Brian? How do you use a bracelet as a tool?
Well, it's just got the way the tool's laid out. You just fold it over, and then you have a wrench, or you have a screwdriver, or you have a.
Really?
It's
Go out to the truck and get it. I want to see it.
Are you serious?
I'm gonna pull it up.
I'm trying to picture this. Oh, the bracelet actually has tools in it.
Yeah. It's slick, man.
Really?
Yeah. I ordered it for this guy last Christmas, and he disappeared. I don't know if he got deported, locked up, or what.
Well, Lewis already got one, so I think I need it.
You can have it.
Mine didn't get here yet.
Yeah,
Mine didn't get here yet. Wait a minute. It's called a track, I think.
Yeah.
Tread.
Wow.
It's called a tread.
Tread. And before I get sidetracked, when you are ready to do your AC lines, just let me know. I have one that goes down to 6 and 6.
Well, that means I got to drive down to Maryland.
No, Ray, how do we do this?
You drive up to New York.
Well, I would love to do that actually.
On up.
I put it in a box with a UPS label.
Yeah.
You use the tool, and then you just put the label back on and send it to me.
Beautiful. Because actually, my friend, the video I sent you where Kiwi bought that tool for like $340. My friend Paul sends me a video the next day. Not a video, a link to Amazon, and they're selling it on Amazon for like $124.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. I said, if I didn't have to use it once.
I tried to tell Chassis John a dozen times when he had to make those lines that all I had to do was send it to you and you could use it. I've only used mine once. I had to do a power steering line, and I had to make an N on it. And like I said, I bought it, and unfortunately, I'm really bad about buying stuff, tools. I mean, but if you need it and you want to borrow it, that's any of you guys. All you gotta do is let me know. If I have it, I have no problems loaning it. So
I'm just curious on this driving back and forth. Which one of y'all are going to drive it out to me in Arizona?
That's why I have UPS.
I'll tell you what, Isaac. I'll tell you. On Sunday when I was out with the car, I was my friend's son. He's got a Monte Carlo, a 71 Monte that he's been doing. He wants to put a big block in it. So he's a car guy. So he always asks me a million questions about everything. So as we're cruising, we're on the highway now, and I forget what the original question was, but I said, listen, Chris, I said, we're doing 70 right now. Oh, he asked me, he says, listen, if you had to do it all over again, look at that.
And
wow.
you fold it over and it has an Allen, it has a Phillips, it has a thing.
That's very cool.
Wow.
I need that.
That is very cool.
I need that. Yeah. Brian, you know what to do with that.
Yep.
Wow. That is very cool. I never saw that.
Very cool.
Me either.
Is it stainless steel or is it?
You can get stainless steel or
I can't remember.
What's the other? Titanium.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
That is sweet.
Very cool.
Yeah, I had to get it. So I hope I get it before my wife sees it in the mail.
There's a spot right here.
The only I tried to wear it, and the only thing it's kind of like if you have hair, it kind of you'll have a bald spot.
Let me ask you this:
she might like it.
Can you take links out of it?
Yeah, yep.
Because I don't have big wrists.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a leather piece to go under it.
Oh yeah,
nice.
So, and you can get it with the iPhone ends where you can put it on your phone.
Okay.
I mean on your iWatch.
That's cool. All right.
Apple Watch.
Nice.
So I'm debating on doing that. I might do the watch side, or I don't know, but I'm going to play with it.
Okay. So, like I was saying, I remember what Chris asked me. He asked me as we're cruising, do you regret if you had to do it over again, would you buy a 6-speed instead of a 5-speed for your car? I said, hell no. I said, if I did it again, I said I should have put lower gears in this car because, around town, I'm like, I can't think about 5th gear until 7. I said, look, we're doing 70 right now in 5th. And I'm like, $2,000. I said, I can't go much. I can't go really any slower. If I drop any slower, I got to go back to 4th gear. I said, this is, and with that, I just accelerated. And then bang, I said, now we're doing 80. And I'm doing about 2150, not even 2200. I said, really what I built a car that was made for like cross-country travel. The problem is I drive local.
Yeah.
Gumball rally.
Yeah.
I said, so no, I would not go with another gear. And I don't know why guys do,
Well, that was funny.
You would stick with a 5-speed.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was funny because that was one of the things with the unveiling of the new Mustang that they were keeping it manual, and they were all wearing T-shirts about save the manual transmission or whatever.
I agree. I'm all for it.
And it was fairly interesting. If you want, Terry, I'll send you the link for the Dark
I'd love to
Horse.
see that. I really appreciate that. Ray, what gears do you have in the back of your GTO?
373s, and I'm thinking about going to 411s.
If you go to 411, you're going to really enjoy the 6-speed.
Well,
I'm telling you right now.
We're going to have the 5-speed. So, I mean, the
that's
first
right.
is
Okay.
low. They're all low. I mean, first is 260. So, literally, my car feels like a small block now because first is 260. Like you come out, boom, pull second. It's like driving a big block with an M22. It's like.
Well, you also got small tires in the back of your car, no?
No, I'm running a 29-inch tall tire.
Wow. Okay, 15-inch.
17.
7. Okay, so you go set. For some reason, I thought you had like 15s of 15-inch rims.
275 50 17s on the rear and 245 40 17s on the front.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's a big tire.
It's a nice tire.
They light up nice.
Obviously.
There's plenty of gear. I mean, there's plenty of gear ratio and all, but I'm just saying for drivability, I would only do the lower gear really for the top end. Like I said, when I was first driving the car and fleshing it out, I found that when I would drive around town, I was okay. But when I got on the highway and put it in fifth, my water temperature was going up. I said, what the hell? So I went down, I did a test. I did a planned route. I went out all the way out in fifth gear, came back the same speed, but in fourth gear, and my water temperature was like 20 degrees cooler. The engine wasn't spinning fast enough. It was too slow. So I went to the flow cooler water pump, which they claim. I mean, they claim that pump moves more water at idle than a stock pump at like 2,500 RPM, and it does.
But can't you just change the gearing inside the transmission?
I guess you could if you want.
I mean, I know some of them have that capability where you can, change the gearing instead of.
I think it'd be easy to change the rear end gears first.
I don't know, because you're giving up on one end towards the other.
I know. You're always playing one end against the other, no matter what you do. Anyway. If you're changing your fourth and fifth gear or third and fourth gear or whatever to change the gearing. The way it's set up now, the car happens to be third is a really nice, strong around town cruising gear. It's a good cruising gear. And fourth, yeah, I could be doing 65 miles an hour in fourth gear and not bad a sweat. Fifth, like I said, 70 miles an hour over is fifth gear. So you got to be serious. You got to be on the road, you got to be able to do that. So
I like 6 gears.
I mean, sometimes 6 gears just spaces them closer together. It depends what the overdrive is.
Well, always fourth gear is going to be 1-to-1.
Right.
On mine, I think 6 gear is 266, 2.66 or something like that. And I'm sorry, I'm wrong.
Oh, yeah, it will be right.
63, that's fifth. And then sixth gear is like 52 or something like that.
58, 56.
50, yeah, it could be somewhere around there, yeah.
Okay, my first gear is 287, which is low.
Yeah.
I mean, a close ratio M21 was 240, I think 240. So this is 287. It's even lower. Second, 189. Third is 128. Fourth is 1-to-1. And fifth gear is 064. So at 064, I got to be 70 miles an hour above with 373s and a 29-inch tall tire. So, I mean, if I go to 411s, my 289, I mean, you could do the 287, you could do the math. That's going to be, it's going to be low.
That's a lot better than the old days when I ran my 513s.
I used to run a 4-speed with 373s. I'd be like 3,600 on the highway, and that was like
screaming.
Too much.
Yeah.
Too much. Yeah. So
wishing you had another gear.
I'm not really right. Exactly. I'm not really, that's when I was running 15-inch tires too. I couldn't. I didn't have the bigger, like G60s. Yeah, G60 15s.
N50s.
Yeah. Or I had N50 15s on there for a while. Those were low. But
yeah. Classics. The good old days.
I was looking at the low riders when they're running the 13s. They're running a big tire, but it don't look odd for some reason. You know what I mean? It looks normal.
On the right car, it doesn't. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like on that lowrider Impala, they look right.
Yeah. I guess it's a trick of the eye that you see it so much that it's just normal now.
It fits.
But man, those tires are little. Those rims.
Oh yeah. Hey, I even took the 13s off my Fiat and went to 14-inch tires.
I was just looking at mine tonight. I'm thinking about jumping from a 15 to a 17, or maybe a 17 in the front, 18 in the rear.
Oh, what car, Bill?
It's a 69 Z28.
Okay.
I'm getting ready to invest in some new tires and wheels. So
yeah, you're a little wheel well challenged in the rear of a Camaro, that's for sure.
Yeah,
I got 17 by 10s on my back of my 65.
I got a baseball bat. We'll fix that.
Well, I'll tell you, Terry, same thing. In my 65, back in the day, I could only put an F70 14 on the front and like a G60 15 on the rear. And now I'm running the tires that I said because of the 17-inch rim. I could never even dream about that back in the day. You just couldn't do it. It was impossible.
I mean, I got 255 60 15s. I like them. They look really good, but it'd be kind of nice to go with a bigger rim. And
that's a good tire. That's a good size.
I like it. It looks good, you know.
That is a good size.
Go 18.
But then you got to be careful because I found out I had the tires that were on the rims that I bought were M&H Race Masters in the rear. And it came time to change them. And I found the size was perfect. But the only other tires that came in that size were made by Nittos and 55s. So I bought the Nittos, put them on, and the left side rubbed a little bit because and my brother did the same thing, not knowing to me. He changed for whatever he had to Nittos, same size, and he had a rub issue on a 57 Nomad. Those Nittos just have a little bit of more of a bulged side.
Rounder, yeah,
bulbous.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to decide if I want to go completely stock on the car because it's wheels, right? You can change wheels and tires.
Right.
I've always had 15s on it. That's what came stock. So I don't know. I'm thinking, the standard rally wheels with the center caps and the beauty rings. I want to do that.
Those things do look nice.
Yeah.
I got some in the back of my truck for Tori.
It's timeless. Yeah.
Those timeless.
Tori just bought some, man. They're really nice. I went and picked them up for him. They repowder coat them, and they're new tires. It's nice.
I was just talking to Tori this week.
Oh,
he was bringing his car home.
Yep.
Yes, he is.
I think he's home.
Yeah, he's home now.
Yeah, we got to get together. He and I got to get together for lunch one of these days. We're supposed to be when he was done with his driving. We were going to get together and have a lunch.
He was here in Ohio, but he was like 2 hours away, hour and a half away, and I was at work when he was coming through, so I didn't get to meet up with him. But
yeah,
well, I heard you guys talking about the donks right before I came on, and I was thinking the donks would be perfect for the Porsche. I'm messing with you. I'm on as far as the Lolos. I'm on the same.
Hey, where's that? Where's that eject button? Where's that? Where's that eject button?
I got one. I can do that.
There's a guy. The BMW SUV, the
Cayenne
X6.
No, Cayenne's
X5.
Porsche. X5.
Oh, I thought you said
yeah.
There's one running around here, and it's like a weird color green, like I don't know, I can't even explain it, but he's got it so high up, man. I want to just shoot him. It's a $100,000 car, and he has it jacked up in the air.
Right.
Yeah, we got a couple G wagons like that running around here that have like these, I don't know, 28s or something like that on it. And man, it just look wagon wheel things. They look funny as hell. They're the 32s. Is that what it is? Yeah, that's
holy smokes.
On a G wagon.
There was a guy down at Autorama that had, I think, 2 Chargers around like 32s or something like that. Like massive.
Yeah, it's crazy. You can't stop. You can't turn. It's stupid.
But the nice thing about it is you can change the brake pads and not take the wheels off.
There you go.
Yeah.
I did that once on a Corvette. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was great. Sneak it right on through. Don't need to take
an
the wheels
oil
off.
change without even lifting it.
Yeah.
Without lifting, without removing the wheel, nothing, man. That's all.
Have you seen those videos when they're racing and the wheels fall off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen those.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And on that note, I'm going to head off because I'm passing out.
All right, bro.
Okay,
Good
Terry.
night,
Bye,
gentlemen.
Terry.
See you, Terry.
Terry.
See you,
Hey,
Terry.
Terry.
Nice to
Make
meet
sure
you,
you're
Terry.
here next week because we're
I
having
am
an
by.
anniversary.
You know it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right, I'll talk with you guys later.
Take
All
it
right,
easy,
brother.
my
Take
friend.
care.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump
Yeah.
off too. Brother, gotta work. I gotta keep working so I can eat.
Yeah,
Overrated.
it's
Yeah, right.
overrated.
So hey, fellas, make sure you're here next week because I got some special guests coming on.
Sounds
man.
good.
They're just gonna
Cool.
pop in and out, say
It was
hi.
cool. I like the even though it wasn't a short, but the clip you put up with KJ, that was pretty cool watching that again. I'm like,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah, man.
He's a
Yeah.
great interview.
Yeah, I'm
KJ is
going
cool.
back through. I'm gonna go back through and put a lot of them back on
Yeah.
because for some reason, how you said the algorithm?
That
It
was
doesn't.
Algorithm, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't count our live streams as watch time. So
Really?
my watch time is like messed up.
Really?
So I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so we can do some other things here.
Right.
It opens up a lot of doors when you get over 1,000.
What's the number now?
3 something.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's like my accounts too. We're low, but
It's okay. I'm sorry, Lewis. Next week I'll show a little more leg.
yeah,
Okay, cool.
that'll help. That'll
Man,
help.
that'll pump us up, boy. Woo!
Like a chicken leg.
I'll work on my
Chicken.
suntan a little bit, and
Yeah,
we'll show a
please
little
do.
more leg. All right.
There you go.
All right. Sounds good. So yeah, that's what we're planning. So I'm gonna do a lot of those short videos. And I have a lot of stuff in the can too from way back when we first started.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to do one a week. I'm gonna try to if I can. Get something. Get it popping.
Heck yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Is there a way
That
that
was good,
we could share that on our platform? I mean, on our stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
so
You can share the link. Yeah.
Like when we go live, like right now, you can go live you can share it and it'll go live on your page.
Okay.
We'll have to explain that to me a little better, but I can, like I said, I'd love to try to get the numbers up. So.
You know what? Next week would be a good time for everybody to share it on their YouTube.
Yeah.
And it'll go live on your YouTube. So it'll be live here, there, and that'll get more people to see it, and then maybe they'll subscribe. So
That's a great idea.
It's a thought.
Yeah.
You just got to kind of run me through on how to do that.
Okay. All right.
I
sounds
know.
good.
I know you can message it to people too, like directly. Like my mom's probably watching right now because the last couple of weeks I've messaged her and said, "Hey, I'm on."
Hey, Mom.
And
Hi, Mom.
Hey, Mom.
Yeah.
My sister calls her and she says, "Isaac's on the TV. Isaac's on the TV. He's on the TV show."
Sweet. This platform, it's, I tell people all the time, they tell me to watch the show, but they don't come on. I'm like, man, I built this so everybody can come on. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
You don't have to be a mechanic or, just come on. If you're into what we're into, come on and let's talk, So, if you know somebody that watches, tell them, hey, come in.
I see that even with the radio show, and a lot of people are kind of, they're put off, even if they are mechanically inclined and work on stuff, they feel there's an intimidation factor. Mm-hmm. And I tell them, listen, if you've watched and you listen to the show, you shouldn't have that intimidation factor because we talk to everybody and we don't talk down to anybody. We're here for the benefit of everybody.
Right.
And people just have a hard time getting over that. And it's like, hey, that's their hang up, man. It's like,
Yeah.
I think sometimes people too, like you said with the hang up, it's like public speaking. It's kind of that same fear. Because I mentioned like the first day I came on, I mentioned to my wife, I was like, I had a blast. And she's like, yeah, but there was a thing for the Pac-12 network here, and they were asked fans to come in and give their viewpoint of a game from back in the 90s. I don't know. There was one where the quarterback flipped over into the end zone. And from that game, they actually, Any Given Sunday, that scene where he flips over and lands in the end zone in that movie came from that game. And my wife was like, well, you went in on that and you got to be on TV and it comes natural to you. And I'm like, I just don't worry about it. And she goes, but that's just it with you. You don't worry. You just if you're gonna look like a fool, you're gonna own it. If you're gonna look good, you're gonna own it. And she's like, not everybody can do that. So yeah, I think it's that public speaking, the same type of vibe of the people that get nervous with public speaking.
I've actually told people, I said, listen, man, you can come on the show. I said, we talked to Isaac, so what the hell?
Yeah, exactly. I made it on.
Anybody.
Hey, I did
but
too.
You know what?
So
they can also go and talk to us through the chat. You know, they can go on YouTube and talk to us. So I tell people, you know, I met a guy at the gas station. He goes, "Hey, Lewis," and I'm like, "Oh man, hope I didn't do nothing bad to him back in the day." He's like, "Yeah, I watched your show." I was like, "Oh well, you know, you can go in the chat room and talk to us. You know, ask us any questions or tell us that we're wrong about something, anything you want." You know,
that's kind of a media phenomenon. And I remember the first time I came back to my Chris, my co-host, and I told him I was spotted at a car show, and like the guy knew, he recognized me by my voice. He says, "Yeah, you just had your first moment. You've been, you know, you were called out." He said, "It's how'd that feel?" I'm like, "It was very freaking weird."
Yeah,
I had that,
very weird because this guy knew stuff like even Isaac. You know, when he first came on, and I said, "Okay, let me ask you a couple. What do you know about me and Brian? Let's see how much you know." And man, he passed the test. He knew the stuff. I'm like, "Yep, okay, you've been watching.
You've been watching."
Yeah, it is weird.
Kind of scary.
I had that happen this weekend for the first time. Somebody recognized me off of Instagram.
Really?
I was like, "Oh, this is weird."
Where were you?
Cool.
I was at a car show in Frankenmuth.
Okay. That's
cool. Like taking a picture of a car, and the guy come up to me, "Hey, are you so and so?" Yeah, I am actually.
You know what's really creepy is when they ask you for your autograph.
Oh yeah,
that would be creepy.
And I'm like, "What? I ain't give you my autograph. You might use it to write a check."
Yeah. That's what I do. I just signed Lewis Lee.
There you go.
I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I was out. Where was it? I was in Canada, I think. And the guy's like, "Oh man, you're blah blah blah." I'm like, "Do you know I'm just you?" You know what I mean? I'm nobody. I just know some people.
Right.
Well, that's the cool thing too about most of the famous people in this field is that's the way they all think.
Yeah.
You know, nobody thinks they're better than you are.
See, that's the difference when you go to like the celebrities, the movie stars. They're on another planet. They're like some other world. I mean, Lewis, you've dealt with that world for a long time, and you dealt with some real guys and women who are the real deal. Yeah. But I think the majority of them are just in their own world. It's like that's not our world. We don't live in that world.
Yeah, it's different. They're on a different ship for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, did you guys see Arco hit 35,000 last night?
Oh, did he?
Yeah, yeah. He had kind of a neat short video this morning. It's probably 5-10 minutes long, just kind of talking about it and thanking people and things like that. But it's really, really cool. I'm happy for him.
Yeah,
man.
That's an accomplishment.
I've been running all day. I didn't have to get it.
Yeah, check it out when you get a minute. It's pretty short, but it's really nice.
Yeah, I have to check that out after this.
I was walking through the house and YouTube was on the TV and I seen him. I was like, I wonder what Arco's talking about, but I didn't stop. I kept on moving. I didn't see what it was.
Yep.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one.
All right, guys, I appreciate you. I'm going to jump off, but tell everybody that you can to come to YouTube next week and follow us. Cause I got some people coming in. They're going to jump in and say hi and tell some lies with us and do the man stuff.
Sounds good.
There we go.
Sounds great, Lewis.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you
later. All right, take care.
Take care. Be safe.
Yep. Hey, Ray, before I jump off, I wanted to show you something.
What do you got?
Remember we were talking about the seatbelt anchors?
Yes.
Okay, this little thing here, this is probably maybe 2 by 1 3/4. It's aluminum.
Okay.
Okay. I got to get it on my screen. There we go. It's aluminum. It's got this very long extrusion. Okay. Right. This particular one bolts to the back panel of an F-150, which is also aluminum.
Okay.
Okay. Actually, it's just clinched by these 2 points. There's no fastener. And then they run a bolt through it. But it's just aluminum. Wow. And it's less than 80 thousandths thick. And I I tore this out of a car so I could show you guys. But
well, I guess when they're making bodies and chassis out of aluminum, might as well make the brackets out of aluminum too.
I mean, you have to.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean that vehicle is almost all aluminum, when it comes to the body structure and everything.
Yeah.
And I just thought I wanted to show you that because we were talking about that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
All there is.
So
stamping.
So it cinches with those two round
yes.
plates. So what's the window at the bottom? What's that for?
That window is kind of like a little tiny anti-rotate thing. So there's another tab that from another part that goes in there and kind of holds the orientation.
That sits in there loosely. It's not tight.
Really?
Because that way the bolt, so the bolt will line up to the seatbelt. It doesn't. It moves a little bit. It's not like it slops around, but it's
right. And I know what you're talking about too, Brian. They're called. It's a cage nut, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
This one gets fastened in hard and tight. It doesn't have any movement, and that's bad about it.
I mean, even if you take the bolt out, it should be able to move a little.
It doesn't.
Really?
It's a solid mount. I hate it.
Yeah.
What you're talking about is the way it should be. That's
so
the
that
way
you don't cross thread the bolt or whatever. It should help line it up.
Yep.
Some of them have that, or I know that not on the F-150, but I've seen it in other cars where that seatbelt thing will move around a little bit.
Yeah, and you know what? They're changing them over to that because this has been a pain in the neck. There's no adjustability. No, it doesn't comply to the bolt trying to locate your bolt, and the thing is fixed.
I think they also changed that on the bed of the truck was the same way. The bed of the truck had a eye bolt thing that went in, and I think they made that with like a cage nut now with a clip. So because they were having problems of stripping out or cross threading the bolts.
Yep, they did it there, and they also did it up in the front in the engine compartment area.
Yeah.
But it's
got to have a little bit of adjustability.
This here that's all there is to it. Little flat bracket.
What's your guys' take on those Ford trucks being aluminum?
I've got one. I mean, I like it. But then I happened to get a body in white in my driveway somehow, and I have a video series out there if you want to see it. It's called Advanced Manufacturing in the Auto Industry, and I take it apart piece by piece and show how this thing has been constructed, and it's enlightening. And I was able to get my hands on one, and so if you want to check it out, you can check it out. I'm not here to try to promote my channel. I'm just saying if you want to see how the F-150s are put together.
Yeah.
I got it out. I got it. And I plasma cut the whole thing to pieces and kind of did a breakdown on how they do it.
Nice.
They're pretty sturdy though.
Oh yeah, they're sturdy.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely has its pros and cons.
Yep.
And unfortunately, like in this world that we live in, once somebody finds the con part of it, they develop that to be a bigger problem what it is. I mean, when somebody first punctured a hole in the bed of the truck, which takes quite a bit to do it. Now all of a sudden they blew that part up how bad it really is, and that's kind of unfortunately the world we live in of being beaten up on, or they could turn that one thing against
turn that negative into some big deal.
Yeah,
right.
And of course they don't elaborate or go into what they had to do to really get that hole there, or how that actually happened. But it is, unfortunately, I mean, it does have some pros and cons.
Yeah.
I like the sports cars and stuff that are aluminum, or have the aluminum chassis and everything. With the trucks, like I have a 72 or 73 Dodge pickup, and I'm used to the old trucks, steel trucks, heavy trucks. I like the idea of aluminum lightening everything up, and then it's just like I can see it in a sports car. I don't know about a truck, you know.
Yeah, it's really a perception thing. I mean, my kid has a 2019 F350, all aluminum. I mean, the chassis and everything is all steel, right? That's all carryover stuff.
Yeah.
He does like stone retaining walls and stone seawalls and stuff like that. It held up really good. You know, I was shocked.
That's
but
awesome.
Our shop truck's the same way.
Yeah. Yep.
350 aluminum.
Yeah, I mean they're good. It's pretty darn good. It's held up really well, I think. But there's no welding. I mean, man, the chassis, the frame, and everything has got weld. But I mean, as far as the body goes and the whole structure.
What was the piece that you were showing there, cut? I mean, what was that?
Okay, this is a section cut I did. See if I can get it up there. I don't know if you can see it. This is called a self-pierced clinch nut. And so what they do is they use a press to press this nut through this piece of steel or a piece of aluminum. This is about 2 millimeters, roughly 80 thousandths. I'm sorry, I can't hold it in front of the camera very well. And the nut is just simply clinched and formed around the sheet metal. And I don't know if you can see it very well, but
it looks like
wrapped around the bottom and the top here.
I see the steps. I can see the steps.
Yeah, I can see the
Yeah, it's in there solid. I mean, it's never ever gonna fall off. You know, like a projection welded nut, sometimes they'll fall off, maybe inside the frame or something, and now you're kind of challenged. You got to get something in there somehow.
I mean, I could see, especially when that was one piece, not sectioned in half, how the integrity would be. Yeah, it looks.
Yeah, because I mean, all 360 degrees around that whole nut. You're clamping it on the top and the bottom with the nut. You know, it's in there and it's in there solid.
Is the nut a little undersized for the whole? I mean, a little oversized. Like, what's the tolerance on the fit?
Well, it depends on the application. Like what Brian was talking about a few minutes ago with the cage nuts. They're just a straight nut that's in that cage that moves around. This one is basically they usually thread it on the vehicle with a nut that's self-threading, and they just run it through there, you know, with a nut runner, and that's how they do it. This is an M8 nut, a standard M8 nut, but they don't put a hole in the part. The nut pierces the hole in the part, and then you form the nut around. So they're not like there's not a pre-pierced hole usually in these applications.
So that's a solid piece of metal that the nut pierces through.
Yep.
I'm having a little trouble wrapping my head around. I'm trying to picture that happening.
Yeah, it's called a self-pierced clinch nut. And so what it does is on one part of the nut, you've got this leading edge that can withstand the force. It takes about 8 tons of force to
Is it pointed at least? Is there a conical edge on it to have it pierce?
Yeah. Yep. There sure is.
How does that get removed?
So what they do is after that edge you're talking about, that conical form, after that goes through on this side of the nut, there's a die and it folds it over and flattens it out. I don't know if you can see that.
Wow, that's cool.
Okay. So you've got the nut on one side, and then you've got that flange that is the piercing tool, basically.
Right.
And it wraps around and it clamps it solidly to that piece of aluminum.
What type of pressure are we talking about?
Most of these are like what we call a pedestal press. We have them depending on how many nuts they're putting in the part. Anywhere from an 8-ton press to a 75-ton press if you're putting in multiple nuts at the same time.
That technology always gets me, just like the welding with heat or fusion. You know, when they spin it up, heat it up, and it seizes together, or weld
friction
together.
stir, friction stir welding, right?
Yeah, and that stuff always amazes me of taking two products like that and you spin it and it's got it gets that certain speed and temperature, just like doing that pressing or whatever.
Yeah,
how that becomes one. It's just it's kind of amazing.
It is. I mean, this stuff. I'm getting ready to do the next video, but that's why I have this stuff down here. But this, I'm terrible at holding this on the screen.
Yeah,
this is called a clinch joint. There's no fastener of any kind. You just take two pieces of metal and join them together, and they become one. And what you're saying, they call that like a micro. Oh, what are they? There's a specific name for it. It's like a micro contact.
Yeah.
And these contacts actually end up basically fusing the two parts together, and you've got this dovetail form that holds the two pieces. It's really interesting.
Now,
you're really making me wish I was back in the metallurgy lab, because I want to section that and I want to see.
That's what I'm trying to show here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the metallurgy and what it takes to do all this, it's very interesting.
Bill, tell everybody what. I'm sorry, Brian. Go finish.
Back in 1989, when they came out with the 960, the 964, the 911 had changed over to the 964. The A pillar was formed that way. There was no weld, and what they had was five pieces of metal. And it was the pressure of crimping together around the window frame and the window rail. It was the strength. And it was actually kind of funny because that was 89. So it was like 89. So early 2000, we were getting the few of those cars that were coming back into the dealership.
Yeah.
They were having a creaking noise. And that pillar, where over time it was starting to flex.
Yep.
So the funny part was, we had gone to school or training, and they came up with this tool, and it was a bar, and it had this thing that you crimped it on, and you just leaned into it, and you kind of re-crimped that metal to get rid of the noise.
Yep.
Well, the problem was, there was a big difference between a guy my size,
I know,
and a guy like Ray. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I told the guy, I said, I want to rip the A pillar out the first time I do it, compared to another guy. So it came down to where, when we had an issue, we called the regional guy, the regional manager, the regional manager guy for the Porsche, and he would come down and do it, because the first time I ripped on one, boy, I tell you, I moved that A pillar around a little bit. That's not a warm feeling. So
it's like one of those. I have good news and I have bad news.
Yeah. So
now, I don't know if you can see this, but how they do that? Can you see that red there?
Yeah.
That's adhesive.
Yeah.
And now they use a lot of adhesive with these things, and that's what really holds the vehicle together.
Right.
They had that. We had a shop I watched doing on an Audi. They were because they're glued in, and they're actually, believe it or not, there's a problem right now, and a lot of the manufacturers, they are required now to have X amount of spot welds still in the roof line. Because they had a person that had a roof done where when they glued it back on, unfortunately, the car was in another accident, had caught on fire, and the glue was coming out dripping on the guy in the car.
Oh, wow!
And he was burned. So there's been a real rethink or a procedure in trying to fix that, because with the adhesive, a lot of the stuff, they were getting to the point where they were starting to glue a lot of stuff on cars real quick.
Yeah. Yep. This section cut is from the cowl top, right in front of the windshield, the cowl top upper and the cowl top inner. Yeah. And that's what this was sectioned out of. And There's not a fastener in it. It's just all put together with this mechanical clinch and glue.
Yeah. Now, Bill, when you cut that out, did you run that through like a bead blaster or clean that up, or how did you?
No, that's as formed. Yeah.
That's the way that. What I did in this particular case is a lot of times, we'll polish them and etch them with acid or something like that. I just cut this off with a 40 thou thick cutoff wheel and just kind of used a 120 disc and kind of buffed it up a little bit.
Oh, cleaned it up. No, I was just wondering if after you cut it out, because I noticed that they are all clean. There's no paint. There's no paint from any. There's no paint on that.
This is right out of the factory, right off the line before they paint it or anything.
Oh, okay.
This is my neighbors. Man, they'd come over there. They'd want to look at this thing all the time because it was just the raw aluminum body, and it's pretty cool. It's interesting to look at. And
Bill, tell everybody what your channel, how they can find your stuff online.
It's called Edge of Eternity, Bill Cameron, and you'll see some stuff about the Bible on there, and you'll see a lot of stuff about cars on there. And I've been an engineer for, this is my 45th year, and I'm also an ordained minister, and so I do a lot of teaching. I do a 1-minute devotion every day. It's just 1 minute, and tons of people watch that 1 minute devotion because, hey, 1 minute, right? It's fast.
So well, I know in the radio world, they tell you like, hey, give me a minute.
Yeah.
Live, and you gotta. Sometimes it's hard to fill a minute. It really is.
Yeah. You got to plan it out, and so I do that 1 minute every morning.
So I'll tell you what. You know what? Let me put you on the spot. Why don't you give us a thought before you leave? Give us a.
All right. What did I do for tomorrow? I'm trying to think of the verse I did. Oh, okay. This one is it's going to be maybe controversial and challenging. I've got a backdrop behind it with fire and all these hands reaching up, and then you've got a guy sitting there below that scratching his chin, and I say, hey, eternity's a long time. Do you ever think about it? And there's a guy sitting there thinking, looking at it. And it's just a few words that talk about it's Jesus saying, hey, you've got two choices that you can deal with, What are you going to choose? You're going to choose go this way, or you're going to choose to go that way? It's just and then I quote the verse on there, and it's I've got a lot of people in the hot rod community that are watching this, and it's really cool. So many people, you got Arco, you got some of these other guys that are really into cars and hot rods. They're subscribed and they're really dedicated to it. And you know what? We have a really good time because, I'm an ordained minister. I never went into the ministry. I always worked out in the field. I do this kind of stuff, metal fabrication and all these types of things that we all enjoy, and I make a lot of really great friends.
That's great work.
My dad was a preacher.
Okay,
I'll tell you something. We're all kind of dime store preachers on our own right, I guess. It's what you believe, and if you believe in it, and then you can talk about it, and you can invoke it, and you can pass it on, and. I mean, we all do our part in little ways, whatever we can do, and that's part of our job here, I think.
You know why I started this channel? I wrote a book called The Edge of Eternity a few years back, and I was getting to the point where, am I going to publish this, or what am I going to do about it? My wife says, why don't you do a YouTube channel?
There you go.
And you look like us, we get to know each other, and we all share what we know, like you said, and I never went into the ministry, and my channel is a no judgment zone. It doesn't cast judgment or anything. It's just sharing what I know. And
right.
And I know cars and motorcycles and the Bible. That's where I spend my time.
Good things to know.
He who lives in a glass house, right?
Yeah. No, it's a no judgment zone. I have every type of person that comes to this. We're all friends.
Right.
It's
right.
Some are believers, some don't believe, and hey, it's just everybody has their own way to go, right, and their own choices to make, and that's the way I look at it.
That's right.
So,
very good.
Yeah, that's a little bit about my channel. I wasn't intending to go there, but thank you for asking.
Yeah, no, it's always good to promote that stuff. We need more of that. We do.
So yeah,
especially these days, the world is so upside down and topsy turvy. I think it's if people would just step back and go back to their roots or go back to what they knew and just reassess. I mean, I'm not talking about making a life change. Just reassess and think about it.
Yeah,
and then you'll know what to do.
Right. Think about it. You know what? When we started this tonight, in Lewis, talking about his daughter almost getting taken by a bad deal. The whole world is they deceive each other, or they try to deceive somebody for profit or for whatever purpose. And
right.
Well, not to, like I said, going on and how I applied that is, if the person, when the person's been around for as long as, say, me or anybody else, it's they're there to help and to promote. I don't know the exact word now, but it's not taking advantage of or going for a ride. And that's why, like you said, how come you've been here that long, or how come you've been around, or that type of thing. It's just doing the right thing and treating people with the right thing. Sometimes do I like that? No. But again, the good will always outweigh the bad in that way.
Yeah. Yep.
And some people have a hard time and a lot of people get taken, or like I said, why was that guy only in business for 6 months or a year? And you find out of all the shady stuff that he did.
Right.
And then we know the shady guys that have been in business forever, and they just always shuck and jive and find a way out. And
but man, I know that I got a few of those guys, but I know that they look over their shoulder quite a bit.
That's a tough way to be.
Yeah, they're living uncomfortable looking over.
That's a tough way to live. Yeah, you got that right.
But some of these guys seem to not even care. It's like, you know what?
Oh, they care.
Yeah,
they may not show it, but dude, trust me.
I mean, I've talked to some of these guys, and you say, you know what? How about having a conscience? Conscience, that's for suckers, that's for losers. I'm in it to make money. I'm like, money isn't everything. We all need money. We all need money to live, but you got to have some sense of purpose and some righteousness. And
in
the end, you can't take the money with you.
You can't. Yeah, there's this thing I always say,
unless you're the queen, don't worry.
Yeah, right. Yeah. the person, the dad dies or something, and they all come around to meet, and they say, "Well, how much money did he leave?" Well, he left all of it. You don't take it with you, and it's something we should think about. That's all, And,
oh yeah.
Well, when I coach the kids, like every season, every sport, but like at the beginning of this season, I tell the kids I know how to fix all the problems in the world, and they look at me funny. And I said it's called the golden rule. You do unto others as you want done unto you, and if you treat everybody that way, if the whole world treated each other that way, I said all these problems
these problems exist, would they?
Right. And I tell them you got to be the change that you want to see. Yeah. You've got to make the changes. And
that's right.
I'm really big on teaching them respect, teaching them shaking hands, teaching them when we take the bus, when the bus comes to pick us up to take us to a game, you greet the bus driver, you use sir, ma'am, depending on what we have, and when you get off, you thank them. I said it doesn't matter. If without them, they don't get us there. And I said, and hey, some of you kids may be smart enough to say, hey, this guy is working overtime. Well, he could be at home watching the football game or playing in traffic, or he could be at home
be with his kids.
Yeah.
What sport do you coach?
Right now, I coach several sports. My main one is football. I'm in I'm in the back half of my football season, but then I go into I coach for a local middle school. I
Oh,
coach
good.
I coach girls soccer next, then boys soccer, and then I end up the school year with baseball.
You know, my oldest son was a really good football player. You know who made more influence on him than anybody were those coaches.
Yeah.
And you have to learn how to play on a team if you want to succeed. I mean, he went through college and everything, you know, scholarship playing football. Yeah. And those teammates, I mean, you know, they form lifetime friendships. Well, and you know, those coaches, you know, they are a real mentor that makes a difference in these kids' lives.
Well, I tell the kids, I've been at this school since 2016, and I tell the kids it's football family, soccer family, whatever sport we're in. I said it's family, and I said, and that means forever. I said, so that means when you guys grow up and you need me, I can always be found, and I'll be, as long as I can break away from, if like my family, I said, my own blood needs me and I can't break away, then it is what it is. But if I can break away, I will be there for you.
Yep.
And I've had kids keep in contact. I've had kids make some wrong decisions. And I've said, do you need me to show up to court with you? Do you need me to be there just as moral support? Do you need, I've got a kid right now. I messaged him this morning. I told him he was on my mind and wanted to see how he was doing. He's playing football at University of Wisconsin, River Falls.
Wow.
And he back in May, it was during baseball season. He said, Coach, I'm signing my letter of intent May 2nd. And I was like, I'm so proud of you. I'm so, you know, and like I said, and he's up there playing. I think he's going to play both football and baseball up there. But right now he's in his football season, and you know, I'm just so excited for him. And
you know, you're part of that life, and when it comes to things like that, you know, without you, how would they have gotten there, right? We always make an impression on people, and that's like with sports and young people. That's huge. It's really huge. It's so important.
And with today's generation, sometimes you have single parent homes for numerous reasons.
Right.
Sometimes you have a dual parent home, but with the economy, the parents are working 2 and 3 jobs.
Yeah.
And so I'm able to be another influence, positive influence, and saying, hey, think about this, think about that.
Yeah.
And one of the sayings I use is I tell the kids, you know, I've been 13, 14, whatever. And I haven't forgotten it. I remember how I was.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll let them know, hey, I was a knucklehead too. You know, you got to think about your decisions. You got to think it out. But I tell them, you've never been 45. You've never seen the things I've seen.
Yep.
And you know, and I just tell them, hey, everybody, say if they make a mistake, everybody makes mistakes. You know, it happens. It's what you do afterwards.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah. And like you said, you know, just like you said, and this is where a lot of people lose some of that, but you know, everyone that you meet has something to teach you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to keep that open to understand, you know, because there's some people that that no matter what you can't tell them anything.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's the way they are, or everything, you know, is. But if you keep that mindset, you know, you can learn a lot from a lot of people.
Yes, you can.
And unfortunately, that's one of the hardest things for people to get to. But, you know, again, you know, everyone that you meet has something that you can learn from.
Has some value. That's right.
Everything's a learning experience.
Yeah.
Everybody you meet.
Sure is.
I agree.
Yeah.
So, like I said, but it's interesting and it's crazy because, like I said, some of the stuff can be repaired or fixed. Very simple, but we have to get it, you know, overly complicated, and it's crazy.
Keep it simple, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
exactly.
The basics are what help people. You like in sports or whatever. You teach them those foundational things, and if they stick to it, they'll get better and better and better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because that was one I remember, like what I said when I got started in this business. One of the trainers that I had, Mario, was a really good guy, really nice. And, he would say, I know what you're thinking. I can see the gears turning in your head. You think that there's a better way, or there's, he said, but if you stick to the basics,
that's it.
This is a proven system. And I can't tell you how many times that I've ventured off and I said, I could do this better, or I could do, but when it gets all out of whack and you're, going down the toilet and, you're trying to hold on, it's so funny that you go back to the basics.
Yep.
You open that plan book up, and you know that in 10 days, basically 10 days, you're going to be back on track. And I guess it's something to do with the way the human is built, that we think that we can fix it, or we can change, we can make it better.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And, you get that up and down all over the place. So,
that's it.
It's crazy.
Those basic fundamentals don't change.
Yeah. And unfortunately, they don't teach a lot of those basic.
I know it. I know.
They skip over that part of it. That's what I've noticed. My heart goes out. My daughter, this is her second full year. She's a kindergarten teacher, and it is absolutely devastating on what some of these kids that are 5 years old going through.
I know.
And it's just the basics. And anybody like you, Coach Isaac, like I said, being that type of just the people don't realize just the mental or the support of that, how much that means.
You got that right, man.
I don't want to get all mushy, but hey, it's amazing just telling a kid a great job instead of ignoring or beating up over something. It's just a real shame. So.
Oh yeah, this season's been a little bit rough. We had a game on Tuesday. Our games are on Tuesday, and we almost had it. That one, for a loss, it was a good loss. It would have been a better win, but it was a good loss. But those kids, they scored, and they're running off the field, smiles. And I'm running up and I'm jumping up and doing the body bump with them.
Yeah.
The funniest thing is, because they've never done it. Most of the kids I have never played football or any sports before like this. And I had one of the kids was running towards me, and I went to jump, and he ducked under me and went around me. He was like, I don't know what to do. It got him nervous. But today
he was like, "Oh no, what's up?"
Yeah, that dude's big. Yeah.
Well, and today we were doing tackling, and I said, guys, this is what you do. And I was showing them, and we have a couple girls on the team, and we have one girl. She ran and she on this tackling drill, and she got past the goal marker where she needed to go. And I said, "You ready to do a body bump?" And I start running at her. She turned and ran the other way. She didn't understand.
Yeah. Yep.
But and everybody laughed, and those are the best moments. Those are the when you
those
see
are the things
laugh.
they remember.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In fact, well, a week or two ago, I was at Walmart just picking up some dog food and different things, and a kid came around the corner and goes, "Coach Isaac." And I looked at him and I said, "I don't remember the name, but I recognize you. I know you played for me." And he told me his name, and I said, "Yeah, okay, that was one of my first years coaching." And he said, "That was the greatest time of my life." And I said, "Well, you're doing good though, right? You're." I said, "You're obviously out of school, but you're here shopping, so you're doing good. You're productive." And he says, "Oh yeah, I'm doing great." And I said, "That's all that matters to me, is that you're doing great. I mean, I appreciate that you enjoyed the time, but what matters is where you're at right now."
Yeah.
And I said that is a blessing to my heart to hear that.
Absolutely. Yeah, you want to just help these kids to grow up to be successful and happy, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep. Super,
And
man.
even and again, I mean, that's coaching, but like I work on my own cars and I tell the kids, it does, you know, if you want to go to college, great, use your athletic ability. If you want to be a mechanic, there's no shame in that. Go build cars. You know, one of my first years coaching, I had a girl, I would have them write a paragraph. What does success mean to you? And one of the girls said she wanted to go to college to be a mechanical engineer because she wanted to design and build cars. And I said, oh my God, you just touched my heartstrings.
Yeah.
I might drive a car that you designed one day.
That's right. I mean, that gives them like, oh, that's motivating, and it gives them hope, you know, like I can be something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Definitely.
It really is. It's great. Great. Well, thanks, guys.
No problem.
Pleasure.
Had to check out. That's it always amazes me. Like I said, with that, I always wonder who sat around and they must have smoked enough weed and listened to Pink Floyd to come up with ideas of putting stuff together with no clips or, you know, holding it together. I don't know who had that time, but it's amazing.
It really is. It really is.
Yeah. So.
And I really like Pink Floyd, by the way.
I always sit there when I see something like that. I'm always like, God, I must be a real idiot. Who came up with that idea? Or, you know, the whole process, you know, or how, you know, like I said, you can pick anything, how they number out roads or number out, you know, anything, and you're just like, man, who could think all that up? Or see all that, you know? It's crazy, but yeah, it's what makes the world tick.
It does. Yep, it does. It really does.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
Well, I got to get up really early tomorrow.
No problem, Bill. It was great seeing you. Come back.
Good talking to you guys. Yeah, I really appreciate this. It was a lot of fun. So
take care, Bill. It was nice meeting you.
Thanks, you guys. Yeah, good meeting you all. And good talking to you. Thanks. Take care. Yeah, bye-bye.
Okay. So, Brian, I got another Matco story for you.
Uh-oh.
I went to lunch with my buddy Kevin the other day, and we're back at the house. We're hanging out on the deck and talking, and I don't know how we got on the subject, but I said, we were talking about working on cars, and I said, I got a tool I got to show you. And I took out my HR 14K.
HR 14K?
Because I know you know every part number in the Matco car.
No, I don't know every part number.
That's the wheel hub refinishing kit.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
So he liked it. And he says, wow, this is really cool. I said, yeah, this is great. I mean, this really solves that problem of cleaning around the studs and in between the studs. I said, it's got everything here. And he said to me, he goes, wow, with these pads, can you get more of these? Like, are they replaceable? I said, I would imagine they would be. I said, I'll find out. I'll ask Brian.
Yeah.
So, and I said, you know, if you want one of these, let me know. You know, I'll order it up for you. Well, he ends up getting back to me and says he found one on eBay, I guess. Got a good deal on it. So he goes, well, let's see if it's got everything in it. So
yes,
question of refill of, you know, replacement pads for this thing, because
I just saw them. They come in a box of 10. It's what was it, $68, something like that, for a box of 10.
Okay.
Yeah, I just sold. Actually, I just looked at the invoice, and of course they're on back order.
Naturally,
but, you know. It's
all right. So
famous last words.
Right.
Back order.
All right. So here's another problem that I have now that I have to overcome, and I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm switching over to this Holly Sniper in my Pontiac, but you need to use their dedicated coolant sensor.
Uh-huh.
Now, I have a mechanical gauge in the hole that's in my intake. A lot of the stock intakes have 2 holes in the coolant passage. I have an Edelbrock intake. It's aftermarket. There's only 1. And I don't want to lose my mechanical gauge, but I have to use this too. So I'm thinking, okay, how am I going to do this? Is there like a Y connector? I had the thought in my head that I've seen thermostat housings.
That's what I was going to say.
In the 70s that had a sensor in it.
Yeah.
And I've been looking. I of course I took out my the Bible. I took out my Ames catalog, which is all the Pontiac stuff. They don't have it in there. I was looking on Rock Auto. I haven't seen it. And then I was thinking, boy, is that really the best place to take a temperature reading anyway? Because you're above the thermostat. So when it's closed, you're not going to get a real reading until it opens. So I don't know. I don't know where to put this thing.
Don't you have? Isn't there? Is there a flat spot on a manifold where you can cut and tap in a new in the water jacket area?
I may have to go. I may have to drill and tap a hole. Right. I was thinking. You know what? Maybe one of the heads. I said, I remember I have a set of heads that I got a brass plug. Is it the ones on the car? No, the heads on my car have no provision at all for
of course
sender.
The only thing that I hate about I've seen guys use a Y fitting or a fitting, and my only problem with that is you're not down in the coolant area. You're raised up
in there, right?
And it's not going to be really accurate.
You're not in the flow either. You're kind of in a dead spot.
Yeah.
I don't like that idea either. Yeah.
It's a lot more work, but we've done it before in situations where we're running multiple different sensors and putting something well-debung in a radiator, like in the tank up near the upper hose or something like that. I had to do that before. I mean, that's a lot more work, but
good idea though. But that's a good idea because I know they're a lot of times they're on a temperature sensor for the fan under the upper hose.
Yeah, that's like with the whatchamacallit, the Hillborn injection that I have. Because of the way the manifold is, the upper hose is split, so they have two pieces. So you have a place where you can tap into. There's an extra piece of metal where the hose, because of the way it's laid out. Like I said, you could probably put something in that way, or I would really look, someplace. Where the mechanical insert is, if it's a flat area or it's got a place where you can, because it's aluminum manifold, right?
Yes, and I have seen some of the aluminum manifolds that have like that blank spot. This one doesn't. I was just going to drill and tap it.
Just shooting down all the ideas.
What if you got
negative Nancy?
What if you got an extra housing to test it on? Drill and tap the thermostat housing, and do the mechanical into the thermostat housing, because you're just getting your gauge reading there, right?
Yeah.
But the other one that came with the kit, it's adjusting the computer parameters for the so you want to put that where you have the mechanical. Why not test it out? And if nothing else, if it don't work, it's just a housing.
Yeah, that's a good idea. The only issue with that is the mechanical gauge is a much bigger, and that goes into a bushing in the manifold. And the bushing is pretty big.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty big, but not. That's why I was saying. I've seen housings that had a sender in them. I can't remember if it was on a Chevy or if it was on a Pontiac or what. I've been looking and I haven't found it. So I don't know.
I would check Chevy. I couldn't tell you which one, but I know what you're talking about because I've seen them too.
And I think
I've seen some Fords, I think, with them as well.
Yeah.
Brian's grabbing one right now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, this one unfortunately doesn't, but I think I have one that. This one is a.
There you go.
A small block Ford.
Yeah, this one's actually a hypo. This one's aluminum. This one's not cast. It's
nice.
Right.
Nice.
So these are the things you come across when you're trying to, when you're converting things, and you have to see, hey, But that's why I like to have everything ahead of time in place so I can see what do I have to do, what do I have to fab, do it ahead of time so you're not laid up with it.
Yeah, less downtime.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those sniper kits are really nice too.
Yeah.
They're
What did Sniper
pretty much
say,
everything.
or did they say anything in their book of instructions, or
No, they just say install our coolant temperature sensor in the water flow.
And they're not talking, yeah, because you want to keep the gauge.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to keep the mechanical gauge too.
Oh, quit being old school about it and move it on up. Come on, man. You're only driving a car that's been around for 60 years.
Well, then if I don't have the mechanical gauge, I take, what am I going to put in that hole? I got to, have to put something else in the gauge hole.
That's when you change it all over to the electronic digital dash.
Oh, no.
And make it look like a Knight Rider thing.
Like the red bars.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's even sexier.
That's what my car does.
Butterfly. Yeah, I know. That's a good idea.
Just like my car.
Right.
As they said with the Dark Horse, how did the guy put it again? What was that called? The steering wheel, the one with the flat. You know how it has the steering wheel's flat on the bottom. What do they call that?
Right. I forgot what they call that.
The Nintendo steering wheel.
Yeah, but it was funny because it says, and all Mustangs come with the blah 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 steering wheel. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Hey, speaking of Fords, anybody in the market for a really nice turbo coupe?
Turbo coupe, really?
I just got a text from a buddy of mine today, and that's actually the guy that I got the fuel injection from.
Yeah.
He's a Whitestone guy, and he's got this turbo coupe that he's selling. And let me see.
Was that like 94? Or is it older?
88.
87?
88.
88. Oh, man.
Is that the Thunderbird or the Mustang?
Yeah,
Thunderbird
turbo coupe.
Yep.
That's what I thought.
Oh, man. That could be fun.
Yeah. With the 4-cylinder turbo. Yeah.
Was it a 4? I thought it was a 6.
No, it was a 4-cylinder.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
All this guy's stuff is in excellent condition.
I think the 9. I think it wasn't until. Well, maybe it was a 6. No. Because that was that 4-cylinder. That was that.
Was it the 6 that was supercharged?
Yeah, the 6 was supercharged.
Yeah.
It's got that right hood on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can have it. It's got a red interior.
Telling one of our coworkers that's the drivetrain he needs in his Falcon.
Yeah.
We did the 2-3 swap already. We just needs all the turbo stuff.
And it's a stick.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's nice.
I can hook you guys up. There it is.
Oh, yeah.
Is it drivable?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm pretty sure it's on the road.
Wow.
Because I don't have a car, and everybody's getting tired of loaning me a car.
Well, here you go. It's got the red velour interior.
Man, when I walk, I will go.
Yeah.
This has got Brian written all over it.
It's white, and that's me. I'm a white guy.
Get the gangsta lean going on those plush velour seats.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Probably a cracked floorboard or a broken seat, like the old 5.0s, the old Fox bodies.
Thing right back to Maryland, man. You come pick it up, you just drive it right back.
You pick me up at the train station?
Yes, sir. Analog gauges.
Damn, look at that.
Let's
That
see.
is nice.
It's got the it's the turbo. So it's got the turbo gauge inset in the tack.
Yeah.
It's 85 mile an hour speedometer.
Yeah.
What the hell's that? Yeah. So, and I know this guy's stuff is meticulous. It's always it's in great shape. He's got all the documentation. I mean, how come that didn't turn? Turn. That's a table full of all the documentation, the books, the keys. If I turn it, it's gonna do that.
Oh yeah.
So he's got all the. He might be the original owner from all this. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let me see what the ad says. There's quite a lot. Oh, no, he's owned it about 2 years. It's an 88. It's got 100K on the clock. 5-speed manual.
Well, those go back to the picture of the wheels. Do they have? Is that the 10 holes or what were they?
No, believe it or not, it's got 4 lug wheels on it.
Yeah. No, those are after. I don't think those are the original wheels. They should have been 10 hole. I think are they 10 holes?
It says all original and unmolested, excellent condition in and out. Runs and drives perfectly, lowered up with full power options, including power windows, locks, antenna, keyless entry, driver and power seats, equalizer on the radio, suspension package, ECT. The only aftermarket item on the car is the row 5-star wheels.
Yeah.
Everything else is the way it came from the factory.
You'd always put those donks on there, Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Coach.
Clean New York State title in his name, ready for transfer. Double sets of keys, all the original manuals. Yeah.
So, and he's asking what, 8,500?
$59.99.
Wow.
You know,
not bad.
He sold an Escalade to my buddy. That's the one I did a throttle body cleaning on a couple weeks ago. Gorgeous, absolutely pristine. His stuff is like above and beyond. This is the guy, like I said, he put the dual snipers on his 55 Chevy, drove it a few miles, didn't like it, took it off, put a single sniper on, didn't like that, and went for dual Dominators on a tunnel ram.
Oh, this is that guy.
This guy. So, you know, he has no problem spending money when he wants.
No.
And Bill's asked me who the guy is. Let me see. What is his name? Bill, you'll probably know the guy because he lives in Maspeth, but he knows Doug. And that's how I got the connection to Dougie. Let me see if he has his name at the end here. No, didn't put his name in here, just a phone number. Oh, wait, show contact info. That's the phone number. All right. Let me see if I can share this. So, yeah, I figured, you guys, if anybody would. Brian, you above everybody, if you know it. I worked on one of these back in the day. It's very cool cars.
They are cool.
Somebody's got the Stones on.
Yeah. So there's always something in the works. Let's see what else is on my list. The finishing tool, the coolant sensor. Oh, Brian, when do you go to your Toyota dealer?
Tuesday.
I was I drove the FJ at night, and I remembered one of the projects I wanted to do was check the headlight adjustment. I think they're too high, even though the truck isn't lifted. So I found a video. I saw how to adjust. There's 2 holes where you go down with a Phillips head screwdriver and turn a star wheel to change the vertical adjustment, but I don't know how to change the horizontal adjustment. I didn't see anything like that. So I don't know.
Oh no.
Can only change the vertical, which I don't know. I looked in my service manual online, and they just show graphs and charts and all sorts of stuff. All I wanted to see was, okay, how many feet back and how many feet up the wall? That's what I need to know. And they gave me all this stuff that's like this convoluted stuff. You have to work at Toyota.
They didn't show the adjustments, or just the one adjustment?
Oh no, they yeah, prepare for headlight aiming. They tell you to use. I'm using. I got a CD. It was the factory. They're saying use Toyota's whatever adjustment tool they have there in the dealership. Adjust the headlights in accordance with headlight tester instructions. So they obviously had a piece of equipment in the dealerships, but they give you all these freaking.
And you think they're too low?
I think mine are a little too high, tell you the truth.
Oh.
They give you all this, it's all.
Oh yeah.
It's all like like I said, I know it's 25 feet back from the wall. Okay, 25 feet back, maybe to the headlights. I can do that, but tell me how many feet up at 25 feet the low beam should be and where the high beam should be, and I'll adjust. Yeah.
Well, you're supposed to use the wife's cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah, you line that up, and
I could do that. Yeah,
get the idea.
Yeah.
Or just keep adjusting until they stop flashing the lights at you. Or
I haven't really had people. I just like, not that I really don't drive that much at night anymore even, but it's just, I actually got this thing I bought from J.C. Whitney back in the 80s. It's a yellow, it's made to fit on the old
headlights,
steel beams with those little tabs on them.
Yeah.
You align that, and what you do is you put it on the ground in front of the car, and you move a slide to level it. Then you put it on the headlight, and then you can adjust in that level. You can adjust your horizontal and your vertical. It's a real quick and dirty way. I was actually looking to buy the headlight adjusting, the headlight aiming tools. Guys were selling those at the swap meets, the old Anco ones.
Yeah.
And I always found guys that had like half a kit. I said, the one time if I start out and I buy half a kit, now I got to be on the search for all the other stuff, and that's probably the one part that's missing from all of them.
Yeah.
So I never bought it. But
yeah, we had the state here required a headlight machine, and that's like I said, and like I said, you had it was X amount of feet from the car.
Right.
And you look down, and it had like that window of like an X or a box that you put the beam in. And of course the state did away with that. That's no longer a required tool. And so every once in a while you find one in a dumpster.
Yeah.
So they get tired of moving around the shop, because it just takes up space. It was bad enough that it sat on a track that, the track itself was $5,000 or $3,000 or whatever.
Have you seen the stuff the dealers got to use to set the ADAS stuff up?
Oh yeah. We sell the targets, dude. It's crazy.
I mean, unbelievable what they got to do to set that stuff up. It's
well, that's like I said, this has been a really big problem, and some of it actually, a lot of it now is adaptive. Because your idea of 6 feet 3/4 is different from somebody else's idea of 6 feet 3/4 when you're laying out a target. You know what I'm saying? And they're having a lot of issues and a lot of places just don't have the room, because it's funny when I walk in, and I'll actually I see it more at the Toyota dealership than any place else, because they have those targets. The Honda dealership is the same way. You walk in and you got the guy, he's laying tape down and measuring, and he's got to set it up, and they want you to have a spot already preset, pre-measured, pre-marked. Well, to tie up a bay and a half or 2 bays,
right?
Nobody is going. I mean, it's very difficult. I got a guy that's actually thinking he's trying to rent another part of a warehouse to have it set up, because the time involved setting all that stuff up is a lot of time in the first place.
Sure.
And like I said, your idea of 6 feet and my idea of 6 feet are two different things, So it's kind of crazy.
You need to have the screen, and the screen has to be movable. There's a lot of stuff involved in that. It's not it's a real commitment.
And that's why a lot of times I tell guys, I said, well, see if it's adaptive first instead of target wise, because all you got to do is go drive. But I tell you another thing that people are having problems. My idea or my situation of driving down the road at 72 miles an hour to set something is a lot different for you because of your location. You can't do that. Or right. You get somebody that's in the mountains or in the hills, or they might not have the capability, a straight area to set that in, or place.
Well, that's why I've always talked about how funny it is to read it, to try and do a drive cycle.
Yeah.
And I've said, a lot of these are like 30 miles an hour for 5 miles, then accelerate to 40, and then try doing that on Queens Boulevard in Flushing or wherever your shop is. I mean, here in New York, like you got Queens, and I mean out here where we are, it's not that bad, but in those areas where it's highly congested, you can't do that.
No,
you just can't do it.
Especially if, like, for let's say you did a repair, and the car's got to go through emissions, but it's got to show a drive cycle,
right?
And you're like, so of course, like everybody else being human nature, what do? We wait for the last day or the last moment and the last hour that we need to get this thing set. And you're like, dude, you got to put a drive cycle on it or it's not going to pass. And of course, what do? They jump in the car. They say, yeah. They drive down to the emission spot and they go, it failed. And you're like, hey, man, I just had this thing worked on. You said, well, you haven't had a drive cycle put in it yet.
Right.
That's a pain in the butt right there.
I've actually done that when I was at work. Guys would, question this stuff. And I would print out the drive cycle. Yeah. And, it's in words. And then they show it to you usually in a graph form. And I'd show that to them and I'd say, like, this is what's required for this particular repair. And they're like, are you kidding me? I'm like showing it to you. This is right off of all data. This is like this is the real deal. There's no joke here. And they're like, wow, I didn't know. Like, yeah. So when your guy tells you, this car has to be driven and, to pass, it's to change, to set that light, it's got to be done.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. And I think, well, I can't remember what it is in our state, but I think you have to have, I can't remember the number right. I don't want to speak out on my ass, but it's, you got to have 6 of the 12 or 6 of the 8 drive cycle markings or whatever.
Well, yeah. I mean, a lot depends on what the fault was. A lot of times it's maybe 3 out of 5. Well, it's even like doing when you do a readiness monitor test. You have to have 3 out of 5 or 5 out of 7.
Right. I mean, there's a certain amount that, it has to, because there might be 1 or 2 that it may never really set just because of the way you drive. I mean, if you're a 30-second guy, sorry about your wife, but you're just into the store and back, so you're not going to get that cycle through. So
the worst thing is with a lot of the evap stuff. What was I thinking with the evap? It's calibrated. It depends on, you have to have X amount of fuel in the tank.
Yeah.
So that the evap system can purge, especially with purge valves.
Yeah.
And the average person has no idea what that is. So you got to have the right amount of fuel in the tank, and it's the right mile an hour. It's very complicated.
And trust me, I know there's people that never have enough fuel in the tank.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it is. I mean, like I said, whoever thought half this stuff up, it's amazing that what we had to do or go through. It's kind of funny, but
right,
yeah, it's crazy. And like I said, you try to explain that to a lot of customers, and it goes in one ear and out the other, and of course they run right down and wonder why it doesn't pass.
Right,
and
so in y'all's state, when you go through the inspection or emissions or whatever they call it there, do they tell you what the drive cycle is when you fail, or they just tell you failed and
you failed? They don't have time. That's not in their pay. That's not in the process.
Yeah, I mean, here in New York, if you bring a car in, I mean, I'm not your average bear when I get inspections. I know all the guys, and they'll say, they'll always ask, is the light on? Because that's the only thing. I mean, a check engine light is an immediate failure.
Yeah, same here.
You can have other lights on, and that's not an immediate failure. But you say no light, and they put the code scanner, they put the reader on to see the readiness monitors, and usually, I mean, the worst was, I think on the one Mazda I have, I had the battery disconnected, so the monitors didn't all set, and the drive cycles hadn't been completed, and they picked that up, and he said, yeah, you got to drive the car some more. I'm like, wow, really? Okay, I wasn't aware of that.
See, the funny thing is here is if you, I probably shouldn't say it, but if you unplug the battery for a couple days,
Yeah.
plug it back in, you here at least, I know of a couple people that you've been able to avoid the full drive cycle after a repair. Now, I've had family members and stuff. I've done a repair for them. Hell, even my own son, it needed to go through emissions, and I did. I think there was a leak in the evap system, and I repaired it, and I cleared the codes. And he goes, "Well, I can run it up through there, right?" And I said, "No." I said, "Son, I told you 3 weeks ago, bring it to me. Let me fix it. Let me figure it out first, fix it, and then you got 2 to 3 weeks to drive it for it to go through its cycle." I said, "Guess what? Now you got to get on the freeway and go that way for a while, and then come back this way for a while, and do it for about a day or two, then run it through emissions."
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, the odd thing is I like I said, I know of a couple of people that did the battery trick after a repair, and it just a couple days, but then it at least here it doesn't trip it for a drive cycle issue. But I've seen and or taken a vehicle through where they're like, I drove it a bit, and they're like, you didn't match the drive cycle, and guess what? You can't come back today. Go drive it some more and come back in it tomorrow or a couple days.
It really becomes more of an issue after a repair.
Yeah.
Because you have a repair done and then you still have the light. And then, I mean, a lot of times the shop will take it out and do the drive cycle. But now you're tying up a mechanic from the shop to be driving a car around.
Yeah.
I know guys that they'll send the customer out. Like, listen, we have a place down here by Jones Beach. There's some street driving, then there's highway. So tell them go down there to the tower, turn around, and come back. It's enough mileage and enough combination that usually satisfies most of the drive cycles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the stuff resets after a certain number of key cycles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Key cycles.
So,
yep.
It all depends on what the issue is. That's.
Doesn't it also excuse me, doesn't also depend on the manufacturer too, on their system? Or is it just it's more so on what they issue?
I've seen it it's more the issue. They're all kind of in sync on that stuff.
Yeah.
So I tell you, I'm trying to find I got to do the water pump on this cruise. So I'm looking around. I go to Rock Auto and I'm looking like, okay, forget the economy stuff. I want to buy a Delco water pump. $125 for a 4-cylinder water pump. And they say right in the description, must change bolt. How do they word it? No, I think I have the papers upstairs. They say you have to change this one. I thought it was all the bolts, but like the Ford V6s when you do a plenum. But no, it's like one bolt. I'm like, well, which bolt? And finally, I found a reference to the part number. And I was able to Google it, and I found that the bolt is like 2. But they don't. When they say must change the bolt, you think they'd have a link to the bolt, and they don't. I'm like, where the hell am I going to get the freaking bolt from?
Your cruise isn't all-wheel drive, right?
No.
Yeah. I was in a shop today. They were doing a water pump on an all-wheel drive cruise.
I didn't know they came all-wheel drive. That's wild.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what I said when I went to the shop today. I brought the info. I asked the guy to run it through. He came out with a higher price. He was like, they want 190. I was like, holy shit, I can get a better deal.
Yeah,
but
crazy.
Oh, was that at the beginning of the show? Was that what you were talking about earlier?
Yes.
Because I was on the way home. I had it on, and then I was tuning in and out because I had it on my phone, and I get a call because I heard you guys talking a little bit about what happened today with, was it Lewis's wife or his daughter? Or
his daughter.
Right.
The ball joint thing.
Right.
Well, and with that, it's funny because my sister she called me up and she says, I need you to come check the rear differential on this truck because I took it in for an oil change and they said that the differential's low. And I said, did they tell you how low? Did they say it needs to be filled now? I said, because it might be a day or two before I get to you. So I drove over across town, and I get there, and I took my breaker bar. I get in there, and I crawl under. I look at it. There's no wet spots. There's no grease anywhere. There's no, seepage spots. I'm looking at the front of it, the differential, the sides, the back. I look at the ends where the brakes are. Did those seals go? There's nothing. So then I go to hook up the my breaker bar to it, and I go to pull on it. And mind you, this was on a Blazer. I'm laying in the gravel, and I start to pull on it, and I start lifting myself up, and I stopped, and I said, they didn't check it. They did not check it. I said, is it making a noise? No, it's not making noise. They just said it needed to be filled. I said, did they say that it needed to be, that they're recommending that you flush it and take out the old and put in the new? No, she said, they're saying that they checked it. I said, they didn't check it. I said, for as much pressure as I was putting on it, I said, this hasn't been open in God knows how long.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like my neighbor with the leak, and they just serviced the vehicle. Like, well, guess what? Somebody screwed something up, because that's fresh, clean gear oil on the floor.
Yep.
I said, listen, I know you don't get it, and that's why you asked me. But if it was old, I'd know it. I said, I know it by the smell.
Yeah.
And if it was old, I'd know by the color. I said, this is actually greenish. It's fresh.
Mm-hmm.
And of course she's doubting, and she's a pain in the ass anyway, but she's always doubting and questioning. I'm like, listen, how many times do I have to tell you? How can I impress you? I mean, you came to me to ask me. So how do I impress upon you that I know what I'm talking about? Like, why didn't you could have gone to somebody else? No, but you came to me.
Well,
so trust me.
Like I said earlier in this evening, Ray, you just got to show a little more leg.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm gonna show a little more, like, my boot got out the door.
You need to put on the OP shorts with the members only jacket and show a little leg.
Well, I was wearing shorts today. I was already had the shorts on. That's
so we're showing the leg.
Right, I was showing some leg. Yeah.
There's nothing like OP shorts and members only jacket. So.
I saw a thing on Instagram today. It was Tom Selleck from back in the Magnum PI days, wearing those short shorts. And I said, I hate to tell you guys, but this is how men should wear their shorts. I was like, whoa, those are the short shorts, man.
Yep.
Gym shorts.
That was back. I know it's a little bit before your time, Justin, but
maybe a little bit.
The short
on the cutting edge.
The short basketball shorts.
Yeah. The satiny ones.
Yep.
They were a little longer by the time I played ball.
Right.
I see my thing. I've got the long shorts, and I wear the long socks, the cholo socks.
Oh, okay.
So I show leg, but it's all white socks. No, the long socks, all the way to the knee.
No, you're only showing that much skin.
Oh, that much skin. I probably got less than 3 inches of skin.
So I wouldn't call that showing leg. That's more like showing knee.
Yeah, right. Well, the shorts probably come below the knee.
Yeah. Yes.
Wear your pants.
But and it's funny too, because I remember back when they had the long striped socks.
Yeah.
And it's funny because one of my brother's friends, we went to go do something. There was an issue with something, and he goes, "Oh, I bet your brother was wearing his long polo socks and his shorts. He hasn't, he hasn't. That's how he was way back in high school and everything. He hasn't changed." No, and it's funny because I used to laugh at my dad because my dad never changed, and it was like, "Come on, Dad, get with the times." My dad always wore bell bottoms.
Me too.
Always wore bell bottoms. But now me, it's I like the long shorts, the long socks, and I never changed.
I even went through the phase where we used to wear, like, they were bell bottom pants, but they had cuffs. It was like more of a dress pant, and a lot of times they were plaid on top of it. And I had a pair of those with like a 2-inch cuff, and that's where you'd wear your marshmallow platform shoes. I was working at a place called Dairy Barn at the time. It was a drive-through. We sold milk, eggs, bread, stuff like that. The register was in the center. You had a door on either side of you, so you go back and forth. And I would come home at night, and I'd take those pants off. I'd find change in the cuffs. There'd be like rings from the milk bottles. There'd be all paper clips. Anything that just fell into those cuffs.
Were those were those ones weren't those also like hip huggers too?
They were usually a little bit of a lower cut. They came a couple different ways.
Yeah. I remember seeing the platforms in those type of pants.
That was in like the early to mid 70s.
Yep. Yeah, that's the cool stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, I used to laugh at my dad with the bell bottoms, and he just took that from the Navy and just hung on to it. But
sure.
But I used to laugh, but I can appreciate a good 70s style bell bottom or any bell bottom. I mean, my daughter even came home with a pair of jeans that they're I think she said they're called boot cut, but they're bells.
Boot cut is about as close as you're going to get now. It's just a wide enough cut. I like boot cut. I prefer them.
Yeah.
Especially if you're wearing boots,
Yeah.
Your dingo boots.
I got a pair of dingo boots upstairs, Brian. Yeah. I got my dingoes.
Yeah. Dingo.
I'll show you. I got a folder here that has all of that stuff in it. Let me find it. I always go
picture time.
Yeah, I always go past it. So Brian, I got an email today from Matco. They're putting all the power tools 20% off. I see.
Yep.
Nice. What are they trying to do? They come out with a new line? Is that what it is?
No. Believe it or not, let's see here. How can I nicely put this?
This is gonna be good.
You probably can't.
Let's say, we've been waiting for X amount of months for them, and now everything's come in, and we need to move it because we've lost half the market share on it because we can't get it to the customer.
The problem is what happened with all the people who went and bought something else.
Who went and bought red?
Right.
Not us.
Yeah, look at that.
Isaac?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's 70s.
That's green is gold, baby. Look at that.
There's your shoes, baby.
Shoes.
Yep.
Yeah.
My brother had a pair of shoes like that.
I had them. Mine were just plain blue with the white soles, but I had those.
I think my brothers were plain white.
It's my favorite thing from the 70s. It's not
the 8-track.
The 8-track.
The Hurst shifter.
The Hurst shifter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is
Why is it? It looks black and white.
It is black and white.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's why.
That was from the 70s. It was before there was color.
Oh, you're old.
The old 8-track.
I can't remember if it was Splash or that other the one with Tom Hanks and the fortune teller movie. I was telling the kids about, and it came out on TV, and I was like, "Oh, guys, this is the movie I was talking about." Blah blah blah, and they go to sit down, and of course it comes on. It starts out in black and white, and Brianna looks at me, and of course I don't know. She was probably 8 or 9 or 7 or whatever. She looks, she goes, "Man, this movie's old." And I was like, "Well, why do you think it's old?" She goes, "It's in black and white."
Yeah.
I said, "Don't worry, color's coming. Just this, I'm not watching this. This is black and white."
Let's put on Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black and white too.
There you go.
Yeah, that's funny. It's old. You watched? They didn't have color when you were a kid. No, they didn't have color.
Hadn't invented it yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Put in the original 10 Commandments without
Yeah.
Technicolor.
Right.
Yeah. So, but too bad. And I did find today. No, not today. It was yesterday. But I did find an ultra rare set.
Oh wow!
See, these are Target. These are Target only, and the car,
with the white wheels.
67. It's a 67 Corvette and a Z06. But the regular cars are like they're only at Target, and they're that red with the white wheels.
Well, I got a fuel sending unit from my Sniper.
Yeah, that doesn't work out on that.
I'm buying real parts over here.
Now, like I said, these are only like what is this? 3% of the production or whatever. Wow. So these are fairly hard to come by.
I hope you write the stuff down about these cars and put it on a post-it note on the back of the card so that someday your kids can look through it and realize what the value of those things are. Because otherwise, it's just what's happening.
You're going to have a trash bag full of cases.
I know. Well, they're going to drop them off and kids. But I also was very lucky yesterday. And I don't know how I came across. I don't know if I have all of them here. But also at Target, they have their red edition.
Oh,
okay.
And these are, they say on the side, let me get it right, on this side right here. It's red edition. These are only at Target. And they have a red wheel. Some of the cars are red. But they only do, there's 12 throughout the year. And it's a set, and it's a limited production. This was out of the K case. So it's like, I think if I remember correctly, it's something like every 5th case you'll get reds.
Well, I don't know if there's any help for you. I don't know if there's any invocations or inspirations or incantations that can be done. I think you're done. You're over the edge.
I'm over the edge. I have fun. Come on now.
That's good. Hey, fun is great. I'm not knocking you for that. I'm just saying you're officially done. Like there's no way you're coming back.
Oh. Well, this is unfortunately, like I said, I tell, I mean, I've been doing this for forever. I mean, collecting Hot Wheels and cars. It's crazy.
It'd take way more than 12 steps.
Yeah. Well, 12 steps will get us to the first platform. Brian, have you seen the other new promotion? Well, it's not a new promotion. I saw it a while ago. Macco came out with where they want you to rate a tool that you bought. And
I saw it.
That's. I think I may do that. I may actually do that.
I got a pair of scissors that I highly rate.
The shears.
The green handled.
Yeah, those things are awesome.
We've got I think we've got 12 people that work at the shop, and we've probably got 10 of those scissors around.
Yeah, they're awesome. I got one. I keep one on the truck, and I got one in the toolbox, one in the kitchen drawer, and I keep one out by the grill. So I cut chicken. I'll cut the chickens.
I was going to say, what kind of difficult materials do they cut easily? Besides chicken,
they cut. I mean,
carpet.
I've used them. Carpet, sheet metal.
Yes, sheet metal.
I've used them on. I've used it on quite a bit of stuff. I mean, cutting stuff. I mean, they're good. They're good snips.
Oh, yeah, we had to tell our guy, just keep a set on the truck because you'll probably sell them at our shop.
Write a review, Justin. Maybe
I'm gonna have to.
I feel what the deal is. There's got to be some kind of prize attached to that, or something they want you to. I don't know. There's probably something.
It was funny the other day. I hit a like on the Lyle Tools,
Yeah.
It was something I hit a like, and I get a message. Send us your name and address, and we'll send you the tool.
I was trying to win a tool just a couple days ago. It was a fuse puller tool, and the other side had 2 blades. You could put them into the fuse socket to clean the female.
Oh yeah, I hadn't
blades.
seen that. I hadn't
Oh,
seen
wow.
that.
It's a new
That's pretty
line,
cool.
and I commented on it. I'm like, yeah, man, I will buy that because
I hadn't seen that. I've got a pair of. I've got some. They're not. They look very similar to tweezers.
Yeah.
And
diamond coated tweezers.
Yeah, they're diamond, but these are diamond blades with different sizes to clean out trailer. I mean, not trailer, but clean out the connectors.
Right.
I saw a lot of those, but I haven't seen the Lyle thing.
This is good because it's on the same tool, so it makes it easy. It's in the same place.
Was the fuse? Was it just a plastic clip thing? I mean, with the slot in it that you slip over the blade. I mean, the fuse to pull out.
Yeah, I'll show you because I took a picture of it. I just got to find it here.
Be easy with your picture taking.
Yeah, no, I'm always taking pictures of something.
Oh, geez, I probably drove him and Lewis nuts on Saturday. I went to a car show and was just shooting them all kinds of pictures of all 500 cars I took pictures of.
You sent me about 1,000 pictures that day.
That's what I was saying, you and Lewis.
Yeah. Like, what's this guy doing? He's not stopping. Holy shit.
Just sending him.
Yeah, I was like a kid in a candy store.
I agree. Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Well, that doesn't help. It's just too bright.
Make it a little bigger. I want to see. Oh,
yeah.
So that end you take the fuse out with, and this end you clean the ATO and the other style.
What's
fuses.
what's the number on that?
55040.
55040.
Fuse pick terminal cleaner set, 2-piece.
Is that what you said? 55040.
40. It's all of $16.95.
Well, that's Lyle's price. That's not Maco's price. I'll be right back. Hold on. Let me see something.
I definitely want to add that to my electrical tool arsenal.
Yeah, those are nice.
Yeah. Nice to have it on one tool. Yeah. Boy, it was 60 degrees outside right now. Oof.
Yeah, we're 58.
Cooling down.
Yeah.
I'm all right with it.
We're at 83.
Yeah.
I can't wait to be in the 50s.
You're right now. We didn't even get up to today.
Really?
You didn't get up to even 50?
No, 80.
Oh, yeah.
I want to say we were in the 70s.
Yeah.
Hey, you know it's hot when the other day there was a nice cool breeze, and I went to go to the school and I looked at the in-dash in the center console temp thing, and it said it was like 98 degrees outside or 95, and I was like, got in there, I was like, it's got to be in the 70s, and even if that's off by a few degrees, we're probably at 90, and I'm going, it's a nice cool day.
Nice cool day at 90.
Wow.
Yeah, you know it's hot then.
Come here, you'll be putting wool clothes on, I guess.
Yeah, it's so hot here that when we get into 80s and 90s, we're like, oh, it's nice.
Wow.
But I love it when it's going into the November, December, January, where we have mornings in the 30s. If we get a good storm coming in and it's a high of 60, and that's a nice day.
What you doing, Brian? You got that perplexed look on your face.
I was trying to see if there was if I can order it through I was seeing if I could order it. That's
It did say it's a new tool, so
Yeah.
they'll have it ready for distribution.
I got I'll have to call in tomorrow and see about it.
And they just posted another tool this week. It was, let me think, it was a pair of pliers that did what? Oh, it was to put a rear view mirror on certain cars where you have the metal piece on the windshield, and you slide the mirror over it, and these pliers come around from the side and would actually grab the metal piece and grab the mirror and push it down. I've never had to do that on a mirror, so it must be a specific car.
Yeah, no, I can't remember what car it is. It's kind of what happens is when people they try to tap the mirror down over the clips, and when they tappy all of a sudden tappy and then they crack the windshield because it pulls the piece off. I mean, they break the piece off the windshield for the thing.
I'm
I can't remember what car it was.
I'm curious why the mirror part would get so tight on that, the piece that's on the windshield. It should just, on the GMs, you just slide it over. There was a set screw.
Yeah, well, that's
not on my Blazer. Not on my Blazer. It's got some type of a spring pin or something. In fact,
they said on the spring pin, right? It's the spring.
Yeah, there's a special tool to pop it off. And in fact, there's nothing worse than it's not fully on there. It's not fully down and seated. Yeah, you go to adjust the mirror and you're driving, and the mirror comes off in your hand.
Well, that's what the tool is for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not.
You don't want that.
No. And I've done the tappy tap thing. I know what you're talking about, Brian.
Yeah. Yep, the old tappy tap. And just when you get to the you say one more tappy, and man, you should have stopped at the first one. It always works that way.
Yep, that's when I did it. That's where and that voice in the back of your head saying, "Stop, stop, stupid, stop, crack."
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember. I need to go by and check my PO box and see if it can, because that was one day last week.
These are them.
Yeah.
Rear view mirror pliers.
Yeah.
So that's something new. What are you looking for in your PO box?
The thing that they sent me. It was It was a new door panel or panel topper or something. I don't know. I can't remember what I got. I guess I could look. I made a comment or something.
I bet you did.
I was, like, are they in stock or are they sitting on the boat outside of the bay waiting to come in? I shouldn't be that way. We gotta be pleasant.
All right, here's the other one.
It was
this terminal set.
Yeah. The other one was a 35 470, a double edge clip lifter. Yeah.
Yeah, they got some nice stuff.
Yeah, that's a neat little tool right there.
Yeah.
With the little
35 470.
Oh, speaking of earlier, when I was mentioning that my mom watches, after last week's show, she had called me and she said, "You guys had an interesting conversation." She was bringing up, she goes, "I had to take a phone call and I missed," but she was asking about the Secret Service stuff. She goes, "That was really cool. That was really interesting."
Yeah. It's always good talk.
Yep.
Yeah.
The after party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's both my grandfather and my dad were contacted from people that want to do a documentary. They they hunt down those guys, you know, when they retire or whatever, and try to get at the time. Unfortunately, my dad's probably rolling over about 3 times in his in the grave about all this crap with the Secret Service now. It was a you know, back then it was a whole different time.
Yeah, but I'm sure those guys were probably bound by some sort of an agreement not to talk about certain things, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, that book I read that I sent you screenshots from it last year that I was reading. I mean, it was, you know, there were agents, they were talking. It was like kind of like telling stories about different presidents and presidencies and all, and this crap that went on when Obama was in. You know, there was a couple of, I mean, it was public knowledge anyway, so they addressed it. But the stories were riveting. I mean, I loved reading. That was a thick book, and I couldn't put it down. I found it highly interesting.
Yeah, some of it, like I said, it's funny because, you know, I have like my dad's daily logs. You know, and like I said, my father was very anal about right. I mean, he wrote. I mean, you could not have a conversation. You know, he's the guy that had a pad and paper, and any conversation that you had with them, there were notes.
Wow.
And you know, that's you know, he'd catch. You know, like I said, he'd catch you, or he would bring up what it was said and what it was. You know,
it's
he
like
was
giving
just
a deposition every time you have a conversation.
Yeah,
Brian,
you know,
there's going to be a quiz on this, so you better.
Yeah, you know, like I said, he had you know, actually here's my mom. This is it right here. These are the pads that he had.
Okay.
And
wow, non-lined too.
Non-lined, and he would have one of these in his pocket, and when somebody started speaking, it was written out. And like I said,
that's kind of unnerving almost, like when someone's taking notes about what to say.
Yeah, well, you know, and you know, as you know, my dad said to me, it covered his ass.
Yeah.
Well,
because, you know, what was said, and it was there. And but you know, again, you know, reading some of those daily log things are just, you know, funny. And the point of, you know, we took 27 leaks today. We had 4 glasses of water. You know, it's just it sounds ridiculous on the stuff, but when you read it all out, it's just kind of comical, or you know, interesting.
One of the books on my list is one of the ones that Clint Hill wrote. I think he's a fascinating person. You know, I find him totally fascinating, and he wrote a couple books, but they're on my list. I did find one at the library. It was like 800 pages. I'm like, all right, not ready for this one right yet. We'll wait on that. I mean, sometimes an 800-page book moves.
Yeah.
It does, but
yeah, it's interesting. Like I said, you know, some of the stories, or you know, some of the stuff that you've seen or heard, it's kind of interesting. So,
well, especially if you've got something on there on those logs or whatever, and it's something that was in the media back then, and you've got more detail.
Oh yeah,
you got the stuff that wasn't there. You know,
right. Well, you know, like I said, it's you know, you're right. I mean, it's what was there or what was going on. It's interesting stuff. So
yeah,
crazy. I was trying to find my picture. I gotta when I go see Mom tomorrow, I'll have to. But I had a picture of me out there on Eisenhower's farm. We used to run around out there all the time, and in the in his limo in the what was that, a Chrysler? It was the
Imperial.
The Imperial, yeah.
Nice.
So,
all right, is it time to run credit cards?
Man, we gotta, yeah, we're gonna hit those credit cards hard tomorrow. Son of a bitches.
I'm still waiting.
I know. No, but I am serious though, Ray. If you want, I mean, like I said, I've got a hydraulic line, for that. I think I made one line, maybe two. I've had a couple buddies use it. I mean, but all I got to do is throw it in a box, slap a label on it, put another label in it, and you can make up your lines. And I had, like I said, I had told Chassis John a dozen times. I don't know why he didn't really go for it, but I know John, but
I don't know what he did. I don't know how he had them made. I don't.
Well, he told me he had a buddy of his around the corner or whatever. I mean,
I think too on that Camaro he used the bulkhead connectors, so he was able to disconnect the lines to the evaporator, where I can't. Mine go into the evaporator and they come out, so they're in the car.
Oh.
So he probably had the bulkhead connectors set up. Yeah, he did. He had the bulkhead connectors. He was able to remove the lines and just take them somewhere. So
yeah, he had it, and like I said, because I know that it has 5/16, and it goes all the way down to what is that, N6? What is that?
These hoses are like at least half-inch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's got. I think it's the same kit that guy on that video. It looked the same.
Yeah, it could be.
It looked. I can't remember the name of this kit that I bought.
Man, my friend Paul sent me a text yesterday. He was trying to get the hub bearings out of his Dodge Ram. He says, "You got a hub puller tool?" I said, I was talking to Brian about this hub puller. What's the name of that tool? That one we were talking about?
Hub Master. I mean, the Hub Master,
right.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I was talking about it, but I didn't buy the damn thing.
Yeah, so it's big money. The OTC one, is big money.
Right. I said, you may have to pull the knuckle off and do what you got to do. Yeah. But he got it. It took him a while, but.
Okay, guys, y'all be safe. Play nice.
Who's taking us out tonight, boys? Justin, you're back in form?
I can do that.
Let's go.
All right. So, as you know, you can follow us on social medias and on YouTube, but don't follow us home. Especially if you're one of those mechanics that are screwing people over. You might have another thing coming.
Then follow us home, but we'll make a detour into the alley and we'll box you in.
Exactly. Yeah, that's when you where's that 32-inch breaker bar. That's
the big one.
That's a little bit of an attitude adjustment on that.
And when that fails, just use the Peter salt bullet.
Right.
Rock salt.
There you go.
Rock salt.
Yeah, nice. All right, so for Lewis Lee, who's tapped out, Ray Guarino from Motormouth Radio, Medical Man Brian down there in Maryland, of course, Coach Isaac, and Justin from American Gas and Hot Rod Shop up in Michigan. We will bid you all a good night. We'll be, I'll be on the air on Sunday. We'll be talking about, actually, I got the Ford guys in. So there's two T-Bird clubs here on the island, and one is the Baby Birds, the 55 57s. And it was always kind of a smaller club, and of course getting smaller because, the amount of those cars that are around. And the other club just covered everything else. So the two guys were actually friends, and they kind of merged. They didn't really merge clubs, but they do one show. And they were all at the one show. So these guys had always come into the studio. Usually it was in July. And we always had a ball with them. And then past few years they haven't been in. They couldn't come in because of COVID, but now they're coming back in again. So we'll be talking with the T-Bird guys and talking about Fords on the show this week. So yeah, listen in if you want to get in on it. Feel free to call in and talk with Elliot and Dennis. They're great guys.
Yeah, sounds good.
Oh yeah,
excellent.
Can't beat that.
So with that, let me. I will say good night and thank you guys for coming.
All right, guys, be safe.
Be safe. Bye, Mom.